What is up? What's going on, fellow Planet Fanatic sirs? We appreciate every single one of you guys being here this very late evening. We do apologize for that, but if you are a Planet Fanatics fan, you should know sometimes we are just not on time.
We are never on time.
A lot of times
We're
we're just
never
not on
on
time. Yeah,
it's not our
that's
jam.
about how it goes. But we do, like I said, well, just about every time we're on here, I always say this, we have a good show for you. I do want to say, I feel like the last time Corey and I were on here, obviously there was a tyrant before the beginning of the stream, and I feel like we did not get to give you the best, most authentic stream for you guys. I feel like we actually... well, I'm going to say for me, myself, being the host, my energy was low, which drug down the energy of the stream. But so, I didn't stream Monday, and I don't believe I streamed Friday. Last time I streamed was Thursday. But here today with some good energy, here today with some, I think, some good topics, and to let you guys know what's going on. Some of you guys have seen a lot of these topics already, and I saw a lot of you guys talking about it already on Twitter. Some of the things I chimed in on, some of the things I did not chime in on. I wanted to chime in with Corey and Q. Unfortunately, Q had to work later tonight. He didn't know we were going to stream, so he picked up an extra shift. But it is Corey and I. So we are going to be here, and we are going to give you one of the best streams that we can. Corey, we saw you last, Wednesday? Was it? I believe it was. So since we've seen you last, I always ask, how are you?
Good. Just working. She works hard for the money, you know?
Yeah, I definitely feel that. That's kind of one of the reasons why we're starting a little later. One, I had to set up a few things, but two, as you guys know, outside, I don't work 9 to 5, but I still clean these two buildings in the evening because that just is money I'm not willing to give up. So, that was a little later this evening that we started that. A little update, I guess, on me. I stopped coaching, as you guys know, AAU basketball in 2021. My last group graduated. But my little cousin is now 10 years old, and his mother has been asking me since he was like 6 or 8 to coach a team for him. And I went and watched him play last season. Definitely needed work last season, but his dad has been working with him in the off season, and he looks fantastic. From the last time I saw him, I saw him yesterday. He looks fantastic. He looks really good. Handles are great. He's playing as a point. Well, handles are good for a 10-year-old. He looks good, a lot better than I saw him last time. So I was always going to coach him. The team they played last night had 3 little boys on the team that I was very interested in. So I talked to their parents afterwards, got their information. And it was interesting because I've been out of AAU basketball for a minute. I haven't recruited or do anything for a minute. But after I talked to their parents, I was going to text him, later on this week. He texted me last night with the other parents in the group text and was like, "Hey, we're ready. Whenever you're ready." I'm like, "Oh, that is super dope." Very talented. Three talented little boys, 10-year-old boys. I think that they are going to fit in with my cousin great. And then I just need to add 3 more. And then I think I'm back in AAU basketball, and I will be making a name for this group. Q obviously would be my assistant coach, and another one of my boys from Q's group will also be one of my assistant coaches. So we'll definitely have their help. When I first started coaching Q and them, I was the youngest coach doing it because I was early 20s, like 21, 22. I started coaching in my high school or my senior year of high school. So I was one of the youngest doing it. But now going into it, I'm not going to be one of the youngest. I'm not going to be the youngest in it. I'll be still one of the younger coaches in it, but not the youngest in it. So obviously basketball has not changed. No matter how you play, the generations may have changed, but basketball has not changed. So I'm excited. I'm excited. If you can't hear it in my voice, I'm kind of ready to get back into basketball. I missed it. Fatal J, I see you, brother. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I appreciate everybody being here. Andre Ware, Raptor Cloak, Stamina, JD, John, Anthony, the people watching, Groovy. If you haven't commented yet, go ahead and smash that like button. Smash that subscription button if you're new here and you haven't subscribed. If you don't like what we're saying, just unsubscribe. But we do appreciate everybody, and being here. So we'll go ahead and jump into the news. Now, how it works, if you are new and haven't been here in a while, the format has changed a little bit. How it works is we will go through all of the different topics first. After we get through those topics, then we will, if there's a comment or something throughout that topic that I see or something that just stands out, then we'll go over that. But other than that, we will touch on all topics and super chats if there are any sent at the end of all of the topics there. So we'll go ahead and jump into the first thing. We have main topics, and we have some little off the top topics that we're going to go through with you guys. The first little, I guess I can, the first little off the top here that we're going to go through. Corey, I did not send this one to you, and I am going to send it to your DM now. If you want to put this so that we can share this one. Okay. So the SAG Awards, it is award season. We just watched the NAACP Awards where the Wayans brothers iconically got up and gave a very moving tribute to their brother Keenan. I would play that whole speech, but it's pretty long with Marlon and the rest were saying. It was very, very, very cool to see the Wayans brothers, or the Wayans family rather, up representing their family, representing for Keenan and things like that. Unless, I don't want to just say black families in America, but white families as well. The Wayans brothers are not just an African-American household name. Scary Movie is something that is widely loved. The Wayans brothers, the show, is widely loved. Many other things that the Wayans brothers have done, Live in Color especially being the main one, is widely loved. I love the Wayans brothers. I love the Wayans family. I think that they are hilarious. They are comedy's first family, as some call them. And it was just, it was really good to see them. Like I said, they did announce that they are going to do Scary Movie 6. I don't know how Scary Movie 6 is going to do. I was never biggest fan of the scary movies. I think they're hilarious. Never the biggest fan of them, though. I think my favorite scene is, I forget, is it with Regina Hall? Where she's in the movie theater and she's like, "That's hilarious," that scene is fucking
so hilarious.
That scene is I don't care. Yes. Okay, how many times I fucking see that scene? That scene is hilarious. So but out of all of it, White Chicks 2. White Chicks is by far one of my favorite comedy movies. I think that movie is so fucking funny. Can they repeat that success? Can they do that same thing that they did in 2004 and 2025? I mean, it's the Wayans brothers. I don't know that too much is off limits, but it is 2025 now. There are some things that were acceptable and said in 2024. I think that's the thing with a lot of these remakes. The time you made them, like I always say this about Shrek 1, you could not make Shrek 1 in today. If they were doing Shrek now, and it was the first one, it definitely would not be in the vein of what that first one is. That first one, as a child, I did not catch all of the adult jokes that are in it, but there was a lot of adult humor aimed at the adults for that film. So I don't know if that really works in 2025 for the Wayans, but your thoughts, if you did watch it, I don't know if you watched.
I did watch the speech. It was very moving and touching, and I was very happy and very proud to see that, just because I've always been a Wayans family fan. Like every movie, every show, I've just always been a part of, and so I thought that was really cool. I am definitely more excited about sorry, I'm like blinking right now because there's so much going on in the background.
Scary Movie 6?
Yeah, not Scary Movie 6. Not White Chicks. What did we just say?
White Chicks? Yeah. No, it was White Chicks and Scary Movie.
Oh, White Chicks. Okay,
those are the only two they announced.
I think it would be good, but like you said, like I don't really know how far they can go with it nowadays, just because it is just, we're living in a different time and different culture and
right.
You know.
Yeah, well, it's different, but I think it's the Wayans, so maybe they're just still going to go for it and keep it in that same 2004 vein and whatever.
There is a certain group of people in Hollywood that can kind of get away with, I feel like, certain humor, just because that's just their staple of humor, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, we'll see exactly how it's going to be. I saw Andrew in the comments say that My Wife and Kids was one of the shows back in the day. I loved My Wife and Kids too. Michael Kyle, bro, that is one of the iconic. we talk about black TV dads, even though Michael, Michael was a good black TV dad too. He obviously put those kids through a lot and made them do, tough lessons at a comedy at the expense of comedy. But he's a great black TV dad too. Yeah, great black TV show as well. So definitely love my wife and kids. But yeah, that's that on that. But anyway, like I said, with it being the award show season, the SAG Awards also were this past week. And Timothée Chalamet, actually, when the SAG Awards were on the 23rd, so that was on a Sunday. But Timothée Chalamet was present at the SAG Awards, and he won. It was his acceptance speech for his first ever SAG Award. And the speech he gave, for whatever reason, some people really loved it. I loved it a lot. First of all, I love Timothée Chalamet. As you guys know, I think that Timothée Chalamet is going to go down in our generation as one of the greatest actors of our time. I've said that many times when we talk about Timothée Chalamet. My introduction to him was in Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey. Although his role wasn't that big, a lot of people say that was just a great role for him. It was okay. For me, he stood out when I first saw him, or when I saw him in Call Me By Your Name. And then from there, I saw him in King. I saw him in Dune. I've seen him in Wonka. I've seen him in Lady Bird. I've seen him in Beautiful Boy. He is a phenomenal
his
actor.
Range is
his range
is really good.
He's a phenomenal actor. And the speech that he gave at the SAG Awards was not your typical speech. It wasn't something that a lot of actors or actresses lean on speaking on when they're accepting awards, but I loved it. I loved what he said. I loved that he highlighted that I want to be one of the greats. I don't want to just have this be a job. He wants to be one of the greats, and he commented on that. And on top of commenting on that, compared it to people like Michael Jordan. He mentioned Viola Davis. He mentioned, I believe, Magic Johnson, or maybe I don't remember who the other athlete was, but just mentioning he wanted to be in lanes with them. And again, I thought it was great. Corey, go ahead and expand that and play that one for me.
Wait, nope, sorry. Which one?
I know we're in a subjective business, but the truth is, I'm really in pursuit of greatness. I know people don't usually look like I want to be one of the greats. I'm inspired by the greats, inspired by this here tonight. I'm as inspired by Daniel Day-Lewis, Marlon Brando, and this as I am by Michael Jordan and Michael Phelps. I want to be up there. So I'm deeply grateful to that. This doesn't signify that, but it's a little more fuel. It's a little more ammo to keep going. Thank you so much. I know we're in a subjective business, but the truth is,
some people had an issue with what Timmy had to say. Some people were saying like, "Oh, that's what he said." Yeah, some people were saying it's a little greedy. Some people were saying like, humble yourself or whatever. And to those people, I just think that's crazy. He wants to be one of the greats. I think highlighting to yourself or highlighting not just to yourself, telling yourself every day, I want to be one of the greats, telling other people I want to be one of the greats. You have to speak things into existence. And in my opinion, like I said, Timothée Chalamet is already one of the greats. I see Fatal J had said, Timmy's not bad. I still need to see him in more. And like I said, I think just for me personally, I think that his range and the resume he's got so far really speaks volumes to his acting ability. I like Timothée Chalamet a lot, so I look forward to seeing what he's doing in the future.
I definitely do like him.
No, you're fine.
But I definitely don't disagree with Fatal J. I haven't seen every movie he's in, but I can't sit here and say that every movie that I have seen him in, I haven't liked.
Right.
Like, he's definitely stood out. Whether it was like a smaller role or the main role, he stood out. And I don't think there's anything wrong with his speech at the end of the day. I think that's him just letting people know, like, hey, I'm in it to win it. Like, I'm in here for the long haul. So, and I liked at the end how he, said this award is not signifying my greatness, but I'm honored to be up here with people who have shared the same stage, who are great.
Right.
Like so-and-so people.
Right. Yep, I agree. I
So
completely agree. Like I said, I like Timothy a lot, so we'll see where his future uh, continues to go. I've seen some people also trying to. I think it was my time. I don't remember who it was a while ago. Maybe some months ago. Actually, it wasn't even months ago. I don't remember. I don't remember when it was. Somebody had said that they Marvel Studios was talking with Timothée Chalamet or wanted Timothée Chalamet. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, and I could be wrong, but I do believe Timothée Chalamet has stated that he was told by Leonardo DiCaprio to never do a superhero film, and he said that he will never do a superhero film. But correct me if I'm wrong. He could have that could be fake, but I thought that is something that he said. So I don't know if we'll ever see him in a DC, Marvel, anything like that. But Timothy is one to watch. Anyway, we'll move on here to the next thing. The next thing that we're going to move to is going to, and this is still one of the little smaller ones here. This is not the main topics just yet. One of the things we're going to talk about is Julius Ona is the director for Captain America: Brave New World. If you have not seen that, go see it. My. Make your own opinion. Julius Ona is the director for Brave New World. And when Julius Ona first took on the job, we had heard that it was going to be a paranoid thriller. It was going to be this, it was going to be that. And some of you felt paranoid. Some of you felt thrillerish when watching it. And that's great. But one of the things that he said that I just don't agree with, and I mean, I can't say I don't agree with it. I can say that it's crazy because I didn't get that. I can't say I don't agree with it because he's the director and he said that that's what it is. But he is saying that the original featured that A Brave New World originally featured the Illuminati from Doctor Strange 2 specifically. And I guess this was going to be in the post-credit scene. He had said that, let me kind of zoom in there. He had said that the original post-credit scene had to do with the Illuminati, and this is what the direct picked up and said about it. The director of Captain America: Brave New World confirmed the exclusion of one past MCU super team. A week into the run in theaters, Captain America 4 has been a major talking point amongst MCU fans, and after initially receiving a mixture of reviews, one of the aspects of the movie that was a misfire for many was the post-credits scene sequence. Now, I saw the post-credit scene before I sat down in the theater because it did get leaked on Twitter. I didn't understand it when I saw the leak. I figured that they were talking about Secret Wars and things like that. I don't know if that's still what they were talking about or not, but that is, I mean, again, I'm going to give my opinion. You have yours. Coupled with a terrible movie was a terrible post-credit scene. So I didn't even stay for the post-credit scene. I left because I had already seen it. So I'm like, I don't care to see that again, especially in 4K.
that was the part I was waiting for.
Yeah, no, it's I can't get on here and sugarcoat it. I can't, and I'm trying. I don't want to be like, I don't want to sound like, oh, discouraging.
Listen,
I hope I can't discourage you from seeing it.
And I don't. If I'm going to be honest with you, I feel like I can't really have an opinion because I haven't personally went out to purchase a ticket to see the movie. But in my defense, it's not a movie that I was particularly excited for because the last time I saw Sam, he couldn't even get a bank loan.
Yep, there's that.
I don't know who he's meeting up with besides old boy, the new Falcon. I couldn't even tell you what his name is. Jaqueline?
Joaquin.
Okay. And then Joaquin, there you go. And then I know Isaiah Bradley's in there. And then what I've heard is it's a really good Hulk movie. It's a great Hulk movie, I've heard. I don't know. It just seems like one of those movies I'd rather just illegally watch at home for free.
Yeah.
Go spend.
Well, we'll get to that, but judging by the second weekend, a lot of people felt that way. But they did go on to say blah, 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 sequence which did little to set up the future in any substantial way. Yeah. However, in a new report has indicated why the stinger may have been purposefully hazy. That's crazy. The Wrap asked director Julius Ona specifically about scrapped ideas to feature the Illuminati in Captain America Brave New World, something that was seemingly a part of the plan at one point. Specifically, the outlet asked him who was in your Illuminati following the team's Earth 838 appearance in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. Without giving away too much about the post-credit scene, Ona said, "I'm not going to say," and added that the post-credit scene featured the leader, Tim Blake Nelson, and Sam Wilson Anthony Mackie in the raft was purposefully left vague. I'm not going to say, laughs. He laughs. Let's just say that it was purposely left vague in the post-credit scene for a reason. While not a direct confirmation, it seems like Ona may have been indicating that the unused idea for the Illuminati in Brave New World would have been the post-credit scene. The fourth Captain America film notably only had one post-credit scene, skipping over the popular mid-credit scene. The Illuminati did not appear in Captain America post-credit scene. That could have been more in line with the multiverse-centric tease fans have seen in the past. Specifically, the Marvel showcase Specifically, the Marvels showcased an unknown reality where Kelsey Grammer returned as a fully CGI beast. The most of the X-Men seem alive and well. Another way to interpret Ona's response is that Samuel Stern's monologue to Sam in the scene was about the interaction of the Illuminati, more specifically when Stearns ominously mentions the others. And then it's what he said in the post-credit scene. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. So if you haven't seen it, this is what he quoted. This is from the direct. This is in the article. They quote what he said. It says, "All the heroes protecting this world. You think you're the one. You think you're the only ones. You think this is the only world. We'll see what happens when you have to protect this place from the others." And then it ends. The initial question asked by the outlet was, as the Earth 838 crew shown in Doctor Strange 2 was decimated by Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch. Excuse me. This means that the past script for Brave New World likely featured an entirely new roster of the Illuminati for another alternate dimension. While some may be disappointed that this wasn't in the post-credit scene instead of the leader, this quote should give fans hope that a secretive world saver may return in the future. And that's just talking about the 838 Illuminati from Multiverse of Madness and blah, 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 blah. Now, with the Illuminati showing up at one point in Brave New World, I mean, it's not unbelievable. I didn't get that from that post-credit scene. It's not unbelievable, though. We have to remember this film did go through 47 reshoots. And with all the reshoots that it went through, I mean, again, I've talked about this before. You take yourselves back to the early days of us talking about Brave New World when it was Serpent Society. Moon Knight was in this. All the Hulks were in this. You had whispers of Red Hulk, but it wasn't official. You had the Serpent Society at one point. There was so much that you had a small fraction or small group of Avengers that he was going to put together that were going to be a part of this. This film has been through a lot, so I do believe that
the young Avengers were going to be a part of it.
Yeah, they had a lot going on. I do believe that maybe the Illuminati was going to show up in this at one point, but I'm going to be honest with you. At the end of the day, I just really don't care because this movie was such a disaster for me personally, and I obviously for Marvel Studios as well. That's undeniable. You can't argue that point. That is fact at this point. The numbers are out. We're moving out now, about to move into the third weekend. For the second weekend, it dropped significantly. Significantly is when it drops. And just since we're on that, can go ahead and go to that. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
But the negative reviews. This is what Ona had to say about some of the reviews. He said, "All I can say is that we're working very hard and are very passionate about the movie we made. We told the story in a way that I feel very excited about and very satisfied with. Every single one of these movies receives criticism. And maybe because it was so out there in terms of some of the conversation, people perceiving certain things, certainly. But I don't think that this is the truth of the reality of it. The really important thing to me is the experience the audience gets to have enjoying the story. Well, as much as I want to, and I do support Sam Wilson, Chala. Support Sam Wilson as Chala. Wake up. You're okay. I'm sorry, he's having a bad dream. Support Sam, the Black Sam Wilson, supported him being black, wanting to support the Black Captain America and things like that. It is, and supporting Julius Ona, wanting to support Julius Ona being the black creator or the black director of this film. It is tough for me to support, and it has, I've seen people online, well, you want to support this black character, you want black characters, they're giving you a black character in the spotlight. Well, it's a derivative black character one, and on top of it being a derivative black character, I don't think that Marvel themselves gives a damn even about this black character.
I'm sorry.
They just haven't shown that they do.
I'm just over here making this face because I'm just like, you want me to care about something that you have shown very prominently and over again, something that you don't even care about.
Yeah.
This is literally the scum off of the bottom of your shoe, and you just want me to get so excited because me and him have the same skin tone? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, the whole thing with this film has been pretty crazy. But one of the things that I mentioned too was that this was one of the this is the last project done under the Chapek era. Believe what you want to believe, but the reports were that Kevin Feige's hands were tied with a lot of things that he was not able to have. Not just Kevin Feige. We saw it with Star Wars. We saw it with Pixar, that a lot of the creators had their hands tied with being able to give mass amounts of input on projects or whatever that were upcoming. This is in the Chapek era. So now that we are finally out of the Chapek era as far as projects go, this was the last Marvel Studios project under that era.
Sorry, real quick. Are you sure? Because I thought Thunderbolts was going to be the last one.
I don't think Thunderbolts was under the Chapek era. It might have been, but I don't believe Thunderbolts was under.
I remember the last time we talked about it. I thought we said the bolts.
I think we got it. I think what we were saying. I think they were saying that it. Whoever said that, I do remember that, but I think they were saying, and I just got it confused. They were saying that it was not in the Chapek era. It started right after. They started filming right after that Chapek era.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense.
Well, Lawrence is saying that it was a Thunderbolts. So maybe it is a Thunderbolts. I'm getting that confused. It has been some time. It's been a lot of stuff going on with Marvel Studios. So it may be that Thunderbolts. And if it is a Thunderbolts, something that needs to be taken into consideration here from Marvel Studios, and they need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. You've got, and we've been saying that though, you've got Daredevil coming out in March, and one of the questions that has been on a lot of people's minds is, what if? Just the question of what if. Thank you, Stamina. That is true. I do keep forgetting about the TV shows that exist, and I think I keep forgetting about this is because Marvel doesn't care. I don't think they care. They gave us a sizzle reel deal of in that trailer that was it the official trailer or a TV spot? I don't even know if it's a TV spot clip, something that they gave of Ironheart in that little sizzle reel from D23 or whatever. The little sizzle reel part also had Wonder Man in it from D23. I forget about Wonder Man. I forget about Ironheart. I forget about Eyes of Wakanda. I forget that these things are still happening. And I think it would behoove Marvel. Obviously, money has been spent, time has been spent, and things like that. So they're not going to just do away with these projects. But I said it about Brave New World, and I'm saying it about some of these projects. Brave New World is one, no matter, I understand it went through the reshoots. I understand you spent all that money. Rumor has it that's why, coupled with Wakanda Forever, why Nate Moore is on his way out and things like that. I would not have released this. I would not have released this film.
If we can say one good thing about this movie is the fact that it may potentially be the straw on the camel back with Nate Moore and Marvel. And I'm honestly...
Oh, yeah, well, he's definitely gone.
I'll take the L for the W. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's out.
I'll take the L for the W.
He's gone in this instance, and like I
They're
said,
not.
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I know we'll probably. I'm looking at the comments, and I know we'll probably hit into this later, but no, yeah, they're not doing any of those. Talking to Lawrence and Basco, they're not anything that this man even spewed out of his mouth. They're not doing anymore. It's getting canceled. It's done.
Yeah. And the question I think on a lot of people's minds, I've seen on Twitter and other places, is what if Daredevil is poor in reception, in views even? What if Thunderbolts in May is? What if the Fantastic Four is? I think there's, is there another movie? Questions. No, that's it. Those are the only, those are the only, the next three things. Those are the next three things. And I think there are some other things coming out in between then. And I if there are, I don't care about them. I don't know what they are. Really at one point, I knew the whole slate, but I don't know the slate.
I don't think there really is. I think whatever was going to come out has officially been canceled.
And that's the next thing we're going to move to. But if Fantastic Four underperform, if Thunderbolts underperform, if Daredevil underperforms, the question for Marvel Studios is going to then be then it's that meme of the dog in the house on fire. I'm okay, everything around me is fine. I don't think that everything would be fine, and they may try to give the illusion that everything is fine, like they've been doing. But I don't. If the reception is poor for these next three projects, there's going to be some hard conversations to be had.
I don't know how. And then it's so funny too, because I keep seeing these conversations in Twitter, on Instagram, and Facebook of, oh, well, the Russo brothers are back, RDJ's back, they're going to turn it around, but it's like, look what they have to work with, and the lack, like what they have to work with versus like what they should have had to work with are two very big piles. Yeah. Like so much should have been introduced by now before we even got to Doomsday, let alone Secret Wars. Like they built literally 10 years of a masterpiece before we even got to Infinity Wars and Endgame.
Yeah. And that has been something a lot of people said too.
Yeah, like there's not a movie that you can't intertwine with 2 or 3 other movies within those 10 years. Like, kid you not, last time that we streamed, Darius called me and my dad called me, and I put him on speaker, and he was literally asking, because they were about to go watch Brave New World, and he literally asked me on the phone, hey, when did we get a black Captain America? Like, what movie did I miss?
He did.
What did we get here? And I was like, first of all, there's so many movies you need to watch. And I had to explain to him, like, you have to go all the way back to Infinity Wars. And then I had to even tell him about Falcon and Winter Soldier. He didn't even know Disney Plus made movies or made shows.
Yep.
Like, he didn't know Marvel even made shows. Like, he was shooked.
But that speaks to what I have been saying so much, just about the casual audience and just keeping up with things. And because, I'm not going to butcher his last name, but if I'm even pronouncing his first name correctly, Hideo, the video game creator, the Japanese video game creator, he commented on and sent Twitter in a buzz all over when he said what he said on Sunday. People were quote retweeting it and saying, how do you, do you even watch Marvel movies, blah, 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 blah. But I think people aren't looking at just the casuals here. He said, I watched this film in IMAX. I vaguely remember Sam receiving the shield in Endgame. But when did he officially become Cap? Is it because I haven't seen Falcon and Winter Soldier? And what is this about the Avengers being reorganized? I'm also getting it mixed up with the Thunderbolts trailer. So him saying all that again, it just speaks to the casuals. There aren't people that are as invested to this stuff as we are. There aren't people that are clinging to every, post-credit scene, every rumor, every, rhyme and rhythm to making the MCU connect with movies and shows and things like that. So he hadn't even seen Falcon and Winter Soldier. Went and saw Brave New World, but with Brave New World, and some people were saying, it was explained within the very beginning. How didn't you not get it? I didn't think that they did. I say that because I'd seen Falcon Winter Soldier. I know what's going on in the MCU, but as someone, if let's say I did sit down, I didn't know what was going on, I don't think they explained it well. And maybe they just expected the audience to had seen Falcon Winter Soldier, but it just speaks to the casuals. It speaks to what people are saying. It speaks to, again, your dad calling in, a friend of mine. I told the story of that my coaching friend that doesn't talk to me about Marvel at all, doesn't care about this stuff. He even said, when did Captain America become black? Where do I need to watch this at and watch him become black and all this kind of stuff? And I even had said maybe the second weekend doesn't have a bad drop because maybe it's going to have the legs of interest with word of mouth. And it didn't. It didn't have enough word of mouth to save it at all. An 82.4 drop in the film's domestic opening is absolutely insane. There's no way around it. It is absolutely insane. The cinema score for it, for those that were asking the last time, the cinema score is a deal that they do for every film. They go in and they take a poll of first view, like the first impressions, people that are coming out of test screenings and things like that, and they ask them, "What did you think?" Blah 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 blah. And they do this for every Marvel movie. They do this for every movie, but they do it for every Marvel movie as well. And after people came out of the test screens for Brave New World, it was you got the B- that you got. You got the grade that you got for it. I saw Antonio Film said that he enjoyed it. And I'm glad that, it is reaching people that actually liked it. Antonio liked it. Raymond liked it. There are people that actually like the film, and that's good. That's good. For me, I will not be rewatching it. I think my rewatch was when I broke it down in the stream with us. That was my rewatch. And that even while breaking it down in the stream, and I'm done after I say this, we can move to the next topic. Even while breaking it down the stream, I was like, Jesus, I have another hour to go of talking about Brave New World and breaking this down. And I was just like, oh my God, I want to get away from Brave New World. So Brave New World is not for me, it's not one, but we will see. I'm still not convinced because the film didn't convince me that Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson is Captain America. However, new writers are going to be taking over in Doomsday, and Marcus and McFeely, new directors, and the Russo brothers. So maybe because they have, done fantastic jobs in the past with other characters, I might leave that theater saying, "Oh, damn, Sam Wilson is Captain America." But as it stands right now, I'm looking for Steve. So that was kind of the things that they said there on Brave New World. And I do have, because we have a few other off the tops here, and that's like the Strange Academy show. We talked about this last week a little with the Pantheon, but I wanted to go into a little more detail here on it. Marvel paused or canceled. They say paused. Marvel canceled 3 upcoming Disney Plus shows that they say that they never officially announced. They never officially announced these. These were all rumored by. So when we look at some of these scoopers and things, and people are like, "Oh, we can't always believe the scoopers." I'm telling you guys, though, I say that same thing. No, we cannot always believe the scoopers, but a lot of the time these scoopers get this shit right. This was not officially announced by Marvel Studios. None of these projects were officially ever announced by Marvel Studios. We heard about it from My Time. We heard about it from Snyder. We heard about it from Daniel RPK. We heard about it from Alex over at the Cosmic Circus. We never officially heard it from Marvel Studios. So for them to come out and say, "Hey, some projects that we never officially announced are being canceled," is a bit had a bit of people like, "What?" So these were real, blah 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 blah. But this is coming from Deadline. It says in a new report from Deadline, noted that Marvel Television has shelved 3 new projects: Nova, Strange Academy, and Terror Inc. No idea. I didn't know then. I don't know now. Thank you so much for the Super Bosco. We will definitely get to that. I don't know. I didn't know then, and I don't know now what Terror Inc. was or is. Somebody had said in the comments last week that it was supposed to be a thriller horror type deal, so maybe it would have fell into their Werewolf by Night category of the supernatural stuff, but I didn't even know about it. It said Nova made headlines in December 2024 with Marvel hiring Ed Bernero as the series showrunner and a head writer. However, the series was already about 3 to 4 years away from being released, a time frame that could now be longer. I think it is going to be longer. I mean, if you guys remember, for everybody that keeps talking about Nova, the reason I really have not commented on Nova on any of the things on Twitter or talked about it here is because during the, I wish I should have pulled this video up. I would have had to find it and clip it and all that kind of stuff. But during the promotion for Deadpool and Wolverine, Kevin Feige sat down with a multitude of different podcasters, interviewers, whatever. Thank you so much for that, Super Michael Nemo. We are definitely going to get to that as well. We talked with a bunch of them, and I believe it was Black Tree TV he was talking to when they asked him, or it might have been Brandon Davis, when they asked him about Nova, and he said, "Well, you know, I can't really say anything about Nova because that's 3 to 4 years out." Mind you, Deadpool and Wolverine came out last year. So with him saying that that's 3 to 4 years out, they have quite some time before they're going to start working on Nova. That doesn't mean that things aren't in production. That doesn't mean that they shouldn't have writers and a story and things to go, to go with it. According to some of the scoopers, they already had all that. They had writers, they had a showrunner, they had a director. So to hear that it's been canceled for some was like, what's going on? But they go on to say, oh, go ahead if you had something.
No, I was just going off of what you were saying.
Okay. They finished this and said, this report also marks the first official confirmation of development on the Strange Academy series and first reveal of Terra Inc. Strange Academy reportedly would have centered around Benedict Wong leading the titular school, which was founded by Doctor Strange and set in New Orleans in the comics. The school serves as a safe haven for young individuals with magic abilities. This was teased at the end of Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness as America Chavez started her training in the mystic arts of Camouflage, which also comes with a tease for her place in the Young Avengers. Meanwhile, Terra Inc.'s comic origins focus on the anti-hero named Terror, who has the ability to incorporate the body parts of others into his own form while gaining their memories and abilities. It is currently unclear what happened or would have happened in this project. They also, Jeff Snyder, I'll get to that actually. We'll play that video of what he said. Get that Jeff one up. I'll play that one. But they go on to say, in this Marvel Studios future, actually, I'm not reading that. It's the future of Disney Plus shows. I'm not going into the future of the Disney Plus shows. They just canceled these 3 shows. That's what I wanted to highlight. So with the, yeah, it's the one that, let me see. Oops. It's the one that starts at hour 43. I think the title of it should be something about Daredevil Born, or James Bond is the new. No, James. It says James Bond on it. But anyway, we'll go through that there to see what Jeff had to say. He spoke with the hot mic, or he spoke on the hot mic with John Roca, and while he was there, he said that Strange Academy and Terra Inc. and all these things were canceled, and that it has been replaced, and it's been replaced with an X-Men show. But he also said that Strange Academy was going to be Marvel Studios' answer. Marvel Studios' answers to HBO's new Harry Potter series. And I'm going to be honest with you. With this being canceled, I'm glad they did that, because there's no way. I don't care what you say, or there's no way Strange Academy in the current state of the MCU. Now, if we were talking in the Infinity War days when people really were high on Marvel and Marvel thought that their shit didn't stink and they could release anything and people were just going to eat that shit up, like they found out was wrong in Phase 4, there is no possible way that a Strange Academy with the new Harry Potter HBO series is going to hold a candle to that HBO. If this was Marvel Studios thinking behind the scenes, what a Phase 4 still under that Chapek mentality thought, because there's no fucking way with the names that they've with some of the names they've already gotten attached to the HBO series. With people, if you remember when I first reported on the HBO series, I was not high on them doing a spinoff of Harry Potter, because I was like, yeah, there's things we didn't see in the books, but I just think that the 9 movies are already perfect enough. How are you going to get another Ron, Harry, Hermione, and so far, and the more I've learned about it, the more that they've talked about it, the more obviously it's going to dive into things that the books, the movies did not get to dive into. I'm excited I'm very, because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, very excited for the HBO Harry Potter series. So to hear that the Strange Academy was supposed to be Marvel's answer to that, that's not an answer. That's not an answer at all. HBO would have destroyed Strange Academy, would have destroyed Disney Plus with that as well. So they said that was coming up as well. But this is what Jeff Snyder had to say about the upcoming X-Men show. I guess it's going to be replacing Strange Academy as an X-Men Academy show and the canceled shows. And you can play what he said.
Okay, I started it a little bit before. I'm gonna get right on the money if I'll cry on.
We already knew that Nova was in the works.
Yes.
My sources had never heard of.
I hadn't heard it till I read about it in this particular news release or article.
Noah had heard about that, so it was just very weird for Deadline to come out and say that they pulled the plug on development of those. But will ultimately happen probably here. That's why I really do feel like it's positive of Nova. And again, Sklenar, who I think is the guy that won.
I think he's skipping.
The other thing that I'd heard.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is where our show goes viral. So when I had heard this.
Oh, Lord. Ad came up.
So I'd asked about the Academy.
Okay.
It said, oh, I've heard about the Academy show. But it wasn't Strange Academy.
Oh.
They said that there's going to be an X Academy.
Oh.
Now, they had sort of said that it was going to potentially lead into X-Men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Someone else said I'd be surprised if they started doing X-Men shows before the movie, and that it would probably be a spin-off of the movie.
Oh, okay.
So it would come after.
Right.
Either way, both of them seem to be of the opinion that there was, in fact, an X-Men show in the works about X Academy and Young Mutants.
An X-Men live-action show in the works about the X-Men Academy and the training that goes on there at Professor X's.
With Young Mutants, yes.
Right.
That's big news, right?
Yeah, I think it's massive, and I think that makes a lot of sense as well.
So yeah, because when there were 2 Academy shows, and that's why I didn't say anything, because I was still trying to figure out, like, there's a Strange Academy and there's an X Academy. Like, because I heard that Strange Academy was going to be like its Harry Potter show, like about wizards and worlds and that kind of shit.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be set in New Orleans. Doctor Strange in charge of it. Yeah,
it'd be like Marvel's way to combat the Harry Potter.
Right.
But maybe they know what it makes rather than Harry Potter. Let's just do it fucking Academy and do X Academy.
Yeah, and it could be, people are speculating, New Mutants thing, or it could be that it's the Academy that maybe launches or brings together the X-Men we're going to see in the movie. So there's all kinds of abilities here with that. Oh yeah,
yes,
interesting stuff. That's a big reveal there, man. I like that. All right, it's not.
You can pause that one.
You want me to keep going?
No. Okay. Skipping a little bit, but we got the gist of it. It looks like there is a X Academy series in the works. Now, this, if real, is exactly what Disney Plus should be used for. If you are looking
Right.
for a way to bring in the X-Men while using Disney Plus and getting people interested in it, I think that's a X-Men Academy show focused on children. Like we had heard that Kitty Pryde was being looked at. Kevin Feige had even said an actress for Kitty Pryde is being looked at, and Kevin Feige had even said that the ushering in of the mutants is not going to be the typical team that we're all used to. So, not Jean, Storm. We even heard a long time ago that Wolverine is not going to be a part of the original team. He's going to be on Alpha Flight. Now, if that is still something in the cards at Marvel Studios, I'm not sure. But, it's not going to be the traditional team that we see. It's going to be other characters and that we're going to be on the team initially or first or whatever. And I think the X-Men are already established. I could be wrong on that. I really don't know how they're going to do that, how that's all going to be set up or anything like that. But he did say that they are going to start slowly feeding in the X-Men. And if you're doing an X Academy show where it's the school, you could bring a lot of those mutants that aren't normally on the screen. Yeah. While having Jean or Storm or Beast or whatever show up in the series as well. But yeah, I mean, the X-Men are something that we're all looking forward to. I would say we're all looking forward to it. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the X-Men. I am. I will say though, just the current until I've got to see more outside of Brave New World. And I'm talking specifically not Daredevil Born Again, which is its own thing. Obviously, it's feeding into the MCU and what's going on in the MCU and things like that. But Daredevil Born Again, it's not dealing with the multiverse. It's not dealing with the effects of what's going on. The bigger picture of everything. That's where my interest is. I want to know where, the bigger picture, what's going on, how are you wrapping it, everything like that. So I need to see more from that and I said all that to come back to the X-Men to say where I was not initially skeptical of Marvel Studios and their doing the X-Men, I am. This is just coming off of obviously, treatment of other characters, the projects and things we've seen, even though that Brave New World or Thunderbolts, whichever one is the last of the JPEG era. Things right now just aren't the best. So I want to see where they're going with it. I have to see it first before I can get on here and just really say that I'm super excited about things. It's not even just being excited because of projects being lackluster lately or anything like that. It also is because, and I hate to always pull it to this because again, I mean, this is just one of the main topics that we talk about. It's the Black Panther stuff with T'Challa. It makes you, for me personally, I can't speak for everyone, but for me personally, I'm not high on a lot just because of what's going on with that. And Michael will get that super as well. I'm not high on that just because of what's going on with T'Challa and things like that. It's difficult for me as a fan when I'm hearing, when you hear about Brave New World and you're hearing the reviews for Brave New World and how the reception of it is so positive and things like that, which is great. But realize what Marvel Studios had to do to get there. And when I say what Marvel Studios had to do to get there is because if you remember, Brave New World was not going to be what we are about to watch in a couple days. Brave New World had a complete overhaul. Brave New World, Charlie Cox wanted to bring in his original stunt double or stunt coordinator. Marvel did not want to do that. They didn't have a showrunner for the show. They didn't want to connect the show to the Netflix show. They wanted to do something.
Daredevil?
Yeah, Daredevil Born Again. They wanted to do something completely different, and to where it was rubbing Charlie Cox the wrong way, it was rubbing Vincent D'Onofrio the wrong way, your stars of the show. But the difference is they came in and voiced. Thank you. Very generous, Lawrence, for the $20 super chat. I will get to all of those shortly. Thank you. And he's just showing support on that, so I really, really do appreciate that. That means a lot.
Thank you.
But they were talking about. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought because of Lawrence being so generous. What was It was
Born Again and
the overhaul. The overhaul.
Yeah.
The overhaul of Daredevil. So, you know, the difference in what Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio did, though, if you remember as well, Charlie Cox originally was not going to even play on Daredevil, or play, I don't believe, was going to be recasted as the MCU Daredevil. A petition was made, kind of like the petition that was made with Recast T'Challa, where Daredevil fans made a petition. They wanted Charlie Cox back in the role. They wanted him in the MCU, to where Marvel adhered to that.
Yeah, same thing with the side characters. They, for the longest time, they weren't gonna have, you know, there was
Froggy and Karen, and
Froggy and Karen and Frank back, let alone, you know, Vincent. So it's like,
yeah. So the thing was, Marvel just listened. Marvel was listening to the Daredevil fans. Marvel was listening to Charlie Cox. Marvel was listening to Vincent D'Onofrio. I'm happy that they did, because we're getting what we're about to get in a couple of days, and I would like to see some good Marvel content. It is just a shame to me that this same reception can't be moved over to the Black Panther franchise, cannot be moved over to T'Challa and things like that. You know, we're listening to Charlie Cox, and we're listening to Vincent D'Onofrio and the fans of this IP and things like that. But again, when it comes to, like Raptor Cloak said, or Blade, when it comes to the Black characters in general, the listening comes to a close. They don't, you know, those characters stay on the shelf or get mentioned or whatever. But it's not the, which is crazy to me, a film that gave you 4 Oscars, $1.3 billion, and all that kind of stuff. You just refuse to, you refuse to enrich that IP. So, with that, I'm going to still save it. We'll move here. Let me jump on some of these supers really quick, because we do appreciate the super chats from everyone for sure. We got a super chat from Bosco. Bosco, thank you so much for that super chat.
My money don't jiggle. My money don't jiggle. It folds. I like to see you wiggle for sure. Make me want to dribble.
Thank you so much, Michael and Bosco. Bosco said in his super, let me go back up here to that.
Gotta go. Great show and conversation. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe.
Thank you so much for that. 5 on your way out, just to say that. I appreciate it so much, Bosco.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Michael, go ahead there. Yeah, read that for me. No, read it for me.
Michael Nemo, $5. Strongest part of Brave New World, in my opinion, the musical score. If you watch it again, notice how much heavy lifting the scoring does, trying to add to the mood.
I'll have to, if I do watch it again, I'll have to pay attention to that. I guess I really was not paying attention to it that much. I think for me, I've said this before, the best part for me was the action sequence.
I did hear a lot of good things about that. Yeah, about the action sequences.
The flight action sequence was great. I thought that was great.
So, all right, and then we have
Michael gave another one. He said, the superhero fatigue one.
Mm-hmm.
Superhero fatigue, not X-Men fatigue, 100%. Possibly so, you know. We're gonna have to see where fans are with Marvel and
honestly. Can I piggyback on that? I don't think it is. I don't think it's a superhero fatigue at all. Like, look what has been popping off just in the last 3 or 4 years alone. Like, we've gotten shows like The Boys, Gen V, Invincible. What's the one with John Cena in it?
I didn't watch. It's DC. That's who the fuck does he? What's that damn show?
Suicide Squad. Like we've got.
Yeah, but he's in. Fuck. Who is he? What is that? Somebody. I know the comments know because y'all watched it. Peacemaker. There
you go. Like I don't think there's
Peacemaker.
I don't think there's a superhero fatigue because we've been given a lot. I feel like we've been in a superhero era. Like, I just think it's just Marvel's just not the one holding the threshold anymore. I think we're in a Marvel fatigue, if anything.
these
Joel,
super.
bad writing fatigue. Yes, Joel.
I don't think it's a superhero fatigue either. I think it is a fatigue
Supercell. Thank you. Ant-Man.
of knowing what we want, knowing the audience knows what they want. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Guardians of the Galaxy 3. The first weekend, and a lot of people were trying to compare Brave New World to Guardians of the Galaxy, saying, well, the first weekend for Guardians was really bad. It wasn't that great of a weekend opening. But the word of mouth for Guardians got around and people went to watch it. The reason people went and watched Guardian the second weekend and not the first weekend is because, again, people know what they want. If they're hearing, oh, shit, this Marvel movie is actually good, I'm going to go watch it. Casual fans and people don't feel like they felt in the Infinity Wars or during the Infinity Saga, where it was like, oh, I have to watch this. Oh, this is mandatory for me to do. I need to sit down and be a part of this. I need to be a part of this conversation. People don't feel like they need to be a part of the conversation anymore. They don't feel like, oh, this is something that is going on that I really want to give my input on. It's like, is it worth it? Is it worth my time? Is it worth my money? Does it go to the overall story that they're telling? I think people are just tired of having their time wasted.
Yeah, that part. Because that part. Yeah, very much so. Because I also think they also had a big leg up because it released Valentine's weekend. Also, any person that talked about the movie, that are more of a casual fan, honestly, were more excited about Harrison Ford than anything else. So if that should tell you something, you know what I mean? So I'm not surprised the next weekend it's not doing what it needs to do.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
I definitely agree. Yeah, I agree.
Agreed. And then the last one there.
Paul Jenkins.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Lawrence just gave the my fault.
Oh shoot, my bad.
Yes, thank you, Lawrence, for that. Thank you, Michael and Bosco as well. So we'll move here to the next thing. I'm going to save that, but we'll move to this here. So last week, also, maybe it was Sunday. I can't remember exactly when it was, but Angela Bassett, the Queen Mother, spoke up about her losing the Oscar for Wakanda Forever that she was nominated as Queen Ramonda to Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, we talked about this at the time when it happened, that Angela was snubbed, and regardless of what some of you might think, she was snubbed for this role. When it comes to her role in Wakanda Forever, I don't talk about that movie in a good way. I've never relived that film. For those, again, that don't know, I walked out of that film. So it is not one that I ever plan to revisit. But when I do talk about Wakanda Forever, it is specifically in a good way. It is about Angela Bassett. Her role in Wakanda, not just her role in Wakanda Forever, Angela Bassett in general. In general.
Like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm a huge Jamie Lee Curtis fan. I just want to put that out there. Like, I'm not discrediting Jamie Lee Curtis. She gave me a lot of bops back in my day. I'm not even gonna front you, but like Angela fucking Bassett, so for, and then it was already bad enough that we killed her off for no fucking reason, just for us to turn around in real life and snub her again.
Yep. And what's crazy is, it's kind of like Lauren said, she should have 5 by now. I mean, she was snubbed in, I don't want to get the year wrong, but it's when she played Tina Turner in What's Love Got to Do with It. One of my favorite, I love biopics anyway. One of my favorite biopics. I think that she, her and Lawrence Fishburne, they killed that shit. So she was snubbed then. Again, I don't remember the year, but she was snubbed then and didn't get the Oscar. I mean, yeah. So, but then to be nominated, I just knew she was going to get this one. Don't get me wrong. As you said, I love Jamie Lee as well. Jamie Lee she's good in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Everything Everywhere All at Once is a great movie. I think it's the best multiversal movie. But Jamie Lee's performance is not holding a candle to what Angela did just in the throne room scene alone.
And then on top of that, I just also want to make it very clear that this was not the only role in that year that Jamie Lee Curtis played that should have been the nomination for this role, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think she was, I don't know if she, maybe not. Was this for supporting character?
No, this was best supporting actress for her performance.
Best supporting. Then maybe I'm wrong, because I know I don't know if her Halloween movie just came out that year, or if it was the year before.
I'm not sure on that one.
I'm not sure, but either way, I just feel like you said, out of all the things that Jamie Lee Curtis has done, supporting or main role wise, like this, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a great movie, and she played the part because it's Jamie Lee Curtis. Anything you give her, she's gonna do it. And same thing with Angela Bassett. But that versus this, I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we even talking about right now?
Yeah, she should have won this, but this is what she said about it. She said, I found it interesting that I wouldn't be allowed to be disappointed. Now, to give a little context, if you remember this Oscar, the camera was obviously on all the recipients or nominees for it. Mm-hmm. And when Jamie Lee's name was called, Angela looked very disappointed, as she should have. She looked very disappointed. She wasn't clapping. She was down. And she had a natural human reaction to something that should have been hers. But she said, I found it interesting that I wouldn't be allowed to be disappointed and at an outcome where I thought I was deserving. I love applauding people, but in that moment, no, I have put in the time, put in good work over time. I don't think that was a gift. I thought it was given. I didn't think that was a gift. I thought it was given. It was given. The last link I sent you, pull that up. It was given. Although this may not come in as clear as I want it to, what I'm about to show.
Wait, did you send it to me?
Yes. It should be there.
The last thing I got was a StreamYard.
Let me see. You might have to look above that. Maybe not. Hold on. Let me try it again. That's really annoying. But yeah, like I said, I think that she should have gotten that. She felt she should have gotten that. I'm going to play this really quick. This scene of her in the throne room. And we'll see what she said. Like I said, powerful scene. That's why this line itself, if you remember the trailer, the emotional fucking trailer. I will always give credit where credit is due. I said this back in 2022. Great trailer. It was a great trailer. Terrible what we were walking into, but just the trailer itself was we gonna be all right behind it. It was No Woman, No Cry. Yeah, it was a good trailer. But that's why they put this line even in the trailer. Play that ad so it's out of the way. That's why they put this. Do what? But anyway, that's why they put that line in the trailer. You know, I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone. Powerful scene. Play that. I'm probably gonna get struck, but I don't give a shit. Play that. Make that big too.
And they had superhuman strength. And they came from the water on the backs of whales.
Start that over.
I struck down 3 of them with blows that should have killed. You will be stripped of your rank as general of Wakanda's armies and your
Start that over for me, Corey.
Jacqueline.
All right, here we go.
They were blue, and they had superhuman strength. And they came from the with blows that should have killed them, but they rose again. I wish to leave immediately with our princess.
Damn.
Okoye, you will be stripped of your rank as general of Wakanda's armies and
Damn.
your status as Dora Milaje. Ningateta umkhanikazi. You may. Jacqueline. Let me die. Say.
Damn, it's freezing. It's irritating me. I don't even want to play it no more because it's freezing. If it's not gonna do it, good. I'm not gonna do it. But we all know how powerful that fucking scene is. I'm not gonna play the scene if it ain't gonna play. But the where she comes in and he says, perhaps we are being too hasty. She raised a spear to her own husband for Wakanda, to where Angela comes in and says, and where is her traitorous husband now? Not in a place that she can visit. Mine are with the ancestors. And she goes on with the iconic, in my opinion, terrible fucking movie, iconic line, iconic scene. I'm queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone. Have I not given everything? So for Angela to not get that, to this day, her still feeling like, no, I was deserving of that, and she was. So
Right.
I didn't get to touch on that last week, so I just kind of wanted to touch on that now. But yeah, Angela Bassett, definitely deserving. Terrible movie, but she definitely deserved all of her flowers for that. And not only that, she also objected to T'Challa being killed off in the film. That's something that she went up to Ryan Coogler about. So one of the last things before we move into the last two main topics here are going to just be this. We all know that Superman comes out in July. James Gunn has recently done some talking in regards to DC and what is going on with some of the newer projects that are coming out right now. And I will say, as I've said before, when we've talked about DC and the current state that DC is in, and James Gunn talking on the internet every 5 seconds and trying to debunk this, trying to do that, I have said the DC universe is even more fractured than when James Gunn got on here 2-3 years ago in front of that green screen and said the DCU has been fractured. And because it's been fractured, I'm not verbatim here, him and Peter Safran are going to put it back together, and it's going to be this and it's going to be that. I don't know. Now, granted, we have not seen Superman yet. The jury's still out on what Superman is exactly going to be. But I'll show this here. This is coming from Jeff Snyder, and it's coming. This is what Jeff says from Variety. I was looking for the Variety article on it. I didn't see a Variety article on it, so I guess I'm just gonna have to take Jeff's word for it. But James Gunn, Superman, just had another test screening, and this was on the 19th. Had another test screening, and the reactions were hugely negative, with many comparing it to Josh Trank's Fantastic Four. Reportedly, WB and DC Studios are very bearish on the movie. There was another report that came out that said, let me find it exactly. There was another report that came out and said that the film, Superman, there it is, Superman will reportedly have a lot of humor. and that is coming from, I guess, a Spotify podcast. I don't remember who this was that was speaking. I don't know if this was James Gunn that was speaking about it or not. But the film is apparently going to have a lot of humor. Yeah, I'm not playing that. They were talking with Matthew Bellany. I'm not sure who Matthew Bellany is. I'm assuming someone that has worked on or worked with James Gunn for Superman, but they said that it's going to have a lot of humor. And you remember that was something that when we talked about Superman from the very beginning, before we saw the trailer, when we found out that James Gunn was going to be not only directing but writing it, I also said, I hope, I pray, I would think that James Gunn understands that this is Kal-El, this is Superman, this is the symbol of hope, this is one of the golden age superheroes, one of DC's iconic superhero, one of the gods. I would hope that he's not coming in here and treating this like he's treating Guardians of the Galaxy, treating this like he treats Peacemaker, treating this, like one of his, humor rock themed projects where we're going to have rock music. Well, we already had rock music in the trailer. We're going to have rock music in the background and dancing and humor and all this kind of stuff. I'm not opposed to humor being in Superman. What I am opposed to is it having a lot of humor. I am opposed to that.
Right.
Opposed to it having a lot of humor because this is not Guardians of the Galaxy. This is not some ragtag group that you can get together that not a lot of people know and then make what you made. And you gave three great movies, even though the third act of Guardians 2 fell flat. 3 great movies in Guardians of the Galaxy for the MCU. But again, these were characters that not a lot of people knew outside of us comic book readers when it came to Guardians of the Galaxy. So you were able to take those characters and do what you did with those characters. Kal-El is not one of those characters.
Yeah.
Superman is not one of those characters that you can take and inject your humor, inject all this rock music and this and this and that. It matters. And I don't think, as I've said before, I do not believe that Superman, I don't even know what Fantastic Four is going to do, but I'm not confident in either one of them. I think they're both going to obviously do numbers in the box office and things like that. Do I know which one is going to beat the other? At one point I said Fantastic Four. I said Fantastic Four is definitely going to beat Superman. At one point, I said Superman is definitely going to be Fantastic Four. At this point, I have no clue. I know Jurassic Park's going to whoop both their asses, but I'm not sure who comes out on top here. You're talking about a fractured MCU, and even more fractured DC because, again, it still hasn't gotten off the ground. Yeah.
Sorry, it hasn't gotten off the ground.
So it's pretty. I don't know exactly what's going to be going on with Superman, but this is just coming from Jeff Snyder, and let me go back down. Jeff Snyder, and apparently he says Variety, couldn't find the article, but Variety saying that the test screenings were poor. And again, people comparing it to the Fantastic Four with Michael B. Jordan. And that film's awful with Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan in them.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
The greatest one.
Yeah, we'll have to wait to see exactly what Superman is going to be. But again, fractured DCU before it even gets off the ground, because something else that James Gunn also recently talked about, where are you, was here. That DC's goal is to release 7 projects a year. Now, I could be exaggerating. I could be thinking, oh, that's a shit ton. Maybe some of you are like, oh no, that's perfect. That's I think that's a lot. I think it's a lot for a studio. Yeah, for a studio that's struggling with, I don't want to say struggling. We haven't seen the film yet. This is just rumors. This is, nothing's concrete or whatever. But rumored wise, struggling with getting Superman off the ground. So
you're starting with Crack Foundation, and you haven't even premiered the one project that you have been hyping up for the last year and a half now.
Yeah.
So it's 7 does seem a little premature. Maybe after I see Superman, and hopefully if Superman is successful, then I might look at that number and be like, okay, it seems like something I can handle. But right now, that's that.
And then again, mind you, this is around the same. We're talking about projects. I need context here, so I know exactly when that was. Let me see. How long ago was that? Let me get the date. James Gunn. Let me see when. I think that was November 2022. So around the Wakanda Forever release is when James Gunn did that video. Was that in 2022? My God. When James Gunn did that video talking about how the DCU or the DC universe has been fractured and they're going to do this and they're going to start with this project. They're going to have this project and how all the voice actors that voiced them in animation are going to transfer over into live action and all the good things that he was feeding us about DC Elseworld and this film's going to do this and that film's going to do that. Well, if that was truly in 2022, which it's crazy, but if that was truly in 2022 and we are now in 2025, these projects here on the screen currently, which would be Waller, Booster Gold, The Authority, we know The Authority is not happening anymore. So these are projects that are having problems currently. And again, these were announced in 2022. They're having problems with the script. They haven't cracked the script for Waller. That's with Viola Davis. Showrunner almost joined, but lost interest for Booster Gold. The Authority is no longer happening. The script had a harder time coming along. But meanwhile, you're hearing things about Clayface. We're hearing things about Sergeant, whoever the fuck that Daniel Craig dropped out of and was going to end up playing, but now is not going to play Sergeant Rock or whatever the fuck that was. You've got Matt Reeves, who hasn't turned in his script for the Batman 2. You've got James Gunn, who recently just said, oh, no, there's no truth to those rumors. Robert Pattinson is not going to be our Batman. You've got Peter Safran, who just came out and said that Brave New World, the other project that was announced during 2022's DCU announcement, that Brave New World is trying to pin down a script and a director and things like that. And I'm just thinking to myself, while all these announcements are coming out, Brave New World, Waller, The Authority, Booster Gold, Superman, 2 live action films, 1 animated film, 2 live action shows, 2 animated series, all in the span of a year. And you can't even get the DCU off the ground with Superman yet. And I don't want to say that because we haven't seen it, but the rumor wise, you can't get Superman off the ground with DC off the ground with Superman yet. And you're trying to do 7 projects a year. And the last thing I'll say before I let you kind of chime in here on it is and I've said this before, you're greenlighting projects like Clayface, Swamp Thing, Sergeant Rock, when you have characters that we haven't even discussed outside of the 2022 video that you did. Wonder Woman, where the fuck is Batman? Where the fuck is the Flash? Where the fuck are the characters that the characters that you have at your fingertips? You have gods at your fingertips, Golden Age heroes at your fingertips. And yet the conversation at DC Studios is, let's greenlight Clayface. Let's talk about Swamp Thing. Let's talk about Booster Gold and The Authority. But we're not putting emphasis on Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, the League, the characters that people actually want to see. And I get there's going to be a lot of those characters in Superman and whatever, but Superman, outside of Superman, Supergirl is the only other film, and I would say Brave and the Bold, it wasn't my most anticipated, that I'm interested in or has my interest, because what the fuck else do you even have going on? What else do you even have going on? No Waller, no Booster Gold, no Authority. So I don't know what's going to be going on with James Gunn's DC universe. But like I said, as of right now, it seems to be more fractured than when he took the stage in 2022.
I mean, no, I completely agree. I don't understand why he's so focused on so many minor characters when he basically has a blueprint of major characters that I feel like need to be developed before. Also, I feel like I said this comment before. As much as I like James Gunn, as much as I love what he has given me, I think you've even said this before, he's really good at giving us side characters. So to take over a whole company and to not focus on main characters is just kind of intriguing. And triggering at the same time. It's just interesting. It's very interesting.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And
I
don't know what
I'm
his
sorry.
game
Go
plan
ahead.
is. No, I was just saying I just don't really know exactly what his game plan is. It's it's weird. Like you said, like said rumors. We haven't seen the movie, but there's already said rumors that the first movie that you're putting out in said company is already a flop so far, and on top of that, it's the staple of the whole entire universe. It's the first superhero. You know what I mean? And it's already not going in the fans' favor, in your favor.
At all.
At
At
all.
all.
I can't get excited for 7 new projects and Golden Boy and whoever when you're not even giving me the main.
The shit that people want to fucking see. That's
Yeah,
what's
wanna
crazy to me with
see.
these studios.
Like,
It's
it's just
crazy
so
to me with
crazy
these
to me.
studios.
I'm not. I think the greatest thing about superheroes and superpowers is that anybody can get into it at any age. It's not something that's strictly for children or just strictly for adults. And I feel like for me, for someone who's older and just now getting into DC and watching the DC animations and like really falling in love with these characters and really starting to understand why people even like DC in the first place. It's disappointing to hear that he's not doing a Batman. We haven't heard, when I think of Green Lantern and thinking about, I'm spacing Aaron. Not Aaron. I can't think of it. Like
You're talking about Aaron Pierre.
Aaron Pierre, yeah, taking over. You know what I mean? It's just little things like that. It's like this is not getting me excited to come into this new universe, to revisit the old universe. Like at this point, I'll just stick with the animations because that's the only thing that's doing its job at this point. Thank you, Michael.
Yes, thank you, Michael, for those 2 supers. Yeah, thank you very much for those supers. We'll go ahead and recognize those super chats.
Money, just mad 'cause your ass is old. My first thing you do is just pick up the phone.
And what did he say in those supers?
Upcoming DC live action projects feels like I'm flipping through a back issue dollar bin where I'm like, nope, maybe, nope. Yeah, I agree with that.
I completely agree.
I also feel the same way with Marvel right now, so I heard. He also sent another one for $2. What did you make of the Gunn/Snyder photo? Oh, I saw that.
That's funny. That's funny. I thought originally, I honestly, I really didn't think much of it when I first saw it. I just thought, okay, that's kind of strange that they're taking a picture together. But then after I saw all of the retweets and comments, of course, from the Snyder fans, people having speculation like, oh, he's calling in Zach because the house is on fire, or they need this, or they need that, or they're going to be working together. Zach's going to film, or Zach's going to direct a film. There's so many speculations, things like that. James Gunn said, and he could obviously be typical James Gunn fashion because he never shuts up. He said that he took the picture with Zach just to get fans' reactions, just so they could see what fans would think or whatever. I might not be verbatim what I'm saying, but he did say that something about getting fans' reactions or whatever. This is what I mean when I say James, like somebody said during the Pantheon stream we did last week, there was a commercial with James Gunn promoting Superman with David Cornsweet, and then Shaq was in it. Obviously, Shaq's nickname in basketball being Superman. He was looking at the suit and all this kind of stuff, and people were like, somebody said in the comments, why doesn't Kevin Feige, and I'm not trying to because Feige's on my shit list too right now as far as like, let's get your shit together. But as far as like people saying, why doesn't Kevin Feige do shit like this? Kevin Feige didn't have fucking time to do shit like this. He's running a studio. He's the president of a studio. He's trying to turn this studio around on top of that. Meanwhile, James Gunn is trying to get a studio off the ground, which he called fractured from the beginning, from taking the reins over from obviously the previous regime. Feige didn't have time to do that. James Gunn doesn't have time to do that. I also don't think James Gunn has the time to be posting. If you post a picture of Zach, that's fine. But for you to go into detail, tell people, oh yeah, we just took that picture just because we wanted to see what fans' reactions are. Sir, why are you on Twitter? You need to be focusing on what is going on with this studio. Why is Superman still getting, if that's true, poor test screenings? Why hasn't Matt Reeves turned in a script for Batman 2? Why the fuck are you doing Clayface?
You need to be on the phone. You need to be calling folks. You need to be. You need to write a script. You need to go write an employee handbook policy. You need to put the phone down. There's a lot of things you need to do besides tweet this tweet right now.
There's a lot of things that he needs to be doing besides just on the internet in general, just speaking with people. And every time somebody says something, he's like, oh, that's actually not true. And who cares? Just let people see what they're going to see when they see it. But the Lanterns, from what we hear, is going to be great. At least from what we hear, the Lanterns is got some pretty good word from Aaron Pierre, at least. Now, granted, he is acting in it, but from what he says, it says that this is a great script. It's a great story. He says it's a character that he loves and something he's really looking forward to do. I don't know why they made him shave, though. I would have preferred the John with the goatee, and I think Aaron would have. But anyway, so we'll see exactly what that series is going to be. And I guess there's an animated series that the Lanterns is doing as well, set in the same universe as My Dad is Superman, or My Friend Superman, or whatever that animated show is. I didn't watch it. So I'm assuming Aaron Pierre is going to be playing John's voice in that as well. But that is that on DC. It's a fractured DC universe right now, or it was when James picked it up, and it's still fractured. So July 25th, or whenever, is it 26th or 25th? Whenever we see, no, it's not. I think it's July 11th. Whenever Superman comes out, so we will see Superman, and I will be seated. Day damn one, the pre-showing for Superman. I'm really ready to see it. I gotta see it. I gotta see it. And I really do hope that it's good. I'm not me sitting up here saying what I'm saying about James. I don't want it to be bad. I love DC. I love DC, and I was a fan of the Snyderverse. I wasn't one of the haters of the Snyderverse either. Now, don't get me wrong. There were films I hated, but as far as like the overall, that Justice League, that Snyder cut Justice League film, I would have liked to have seen a conclusion to that. But big DC fan. I think Marvel needs competition, and I would like DC to get their shit together so they can give Marvel that competition. So
I definitely agree.
I'm
with that.
looking. Yeah, I'm looking forward and ready for it. Looking forward and ready for it. All right. One of the last things, because this is the last topic before the main topic, and the main topic is the OKOYE deal. But the last topic, well, I'm sorry, we still have two more. This one here. Is a Star Wars one. And I will get through this quickly too, before we can move to the second to the last. But for those of you that don't know, obviously, big Star Wars fan, love Star Wars, grew up on Star Wars. It is my favorite IP above everything. Star Wars is king for me. Revenge of the Sith is coming up on its 20th anniversary, and they are putting it back in theaters. I have not seen Revenge of the Sith in theaters, obviously, since 2025 when it was in theaters. It's been back in theaters a couple times, but I've never gone to watch it. I will definitely be watching it for the 20th anniversary in theaters to see it. Like I said, I hadn't seen it in there since 2005 when I was in the 5th grade. So I'm definitely going to go see it. Love Star Wars. However, it is no secret that Star Wars has been, like DC, fractured, and fractured is a very nice word for where Star Wars currently sits. Kathleen Kennedy was given the reins to Star Wars once George Lucas sold the IP to the mouse, and Kathleen at the time seemed like, okay, that makes sense. That's a good fit for it. You know, Kathleen is, she's been here. She knows, the work that George wants to do. Kathleen, like I said, she's been there since the original, since the 70s, since A New Hope. She has always been next to George. So you would think that someone that's been there since its inception would understand this IP, would understand the fandom. And I don't think Kathleen doesn't understand. I think she does understand the IP. I think she does understand what this means to fans. I don't think that she quite gives a fuck. I think that that has been proven time and time again since with the acquiring of Star Wars to Disney. She has proved that time and time again. Have there been gems in the Star Wars timeline? Yes, we've had the creation that launched Disney Plus, which was Mandalorian season 1, which was phenomenal. Everyone was talking about Mandalorian season 1. Season 2 brought in Luke Skywalker, the franchise's main character, which was again phenomenal. You had people like Star Wars Theory who were recording videos crying after seeing Luke Skywalker come back on screen. You had projects like Rogue One, which I brag about all the time. Rogue One is the absolute best thing Star Wars or Lucasfilm under Disney has produced in terms of live action films. I think Rogue One is phenomenal. Clone Wars, Rebels. I mean, these Rebels wasn't done under Disney, but Clone Wars season 7 was done under Disney. I think these are, again, great things. You have Dave Filoni over there, who is the next best thing to George Lucas that we have. He studied under George. He thinks like George. He talks like George. He even, writes and moves like George. He studied under George. Jon Favreau is just a big fucking nerd. John loves Star Wars. He loves Marvel. He loves all those things. John helped write, and if you look at some of those behind the scenes things that they do for Mandalorian season 1, where because each episode a different director directed those episodes. Bryce Dallas Howard directed absolutely one of the best Mandalorian episodes, I think. And I think that having if you go back and you look at those directors talking about that, John's one of them, and he just talks about just the overall his connection to Star Wars, what Star Wars means to him, the episodes he directed, and things like that. And then Dave talks. Now they all talk, but then Dave talks, and I think I had never heard or had it broken down. And I love Star Wars. I know Star Wars, but had it broken down the way that Dave broke Star Wars down, the way that he talked about just the Phantom Menace, his first time seeing the Phantom Menace, what that meant, the implications of how that just went on, just everything. It was great. It was great. So these are people that actually love Star Wars, that want to get this IP back to where it's supposed to be. Let people tell you, and I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me because some of you are not Star Wars fans like that, but they say, and it is, Marvel Studios is the one of the greatest, if not the greatest studio. But at one point in time, Marvel or Star Wars was that. Star Wars was king. Star Wars, there wasn't an IP that was grossing like Star Wars, that was bringing in box office numbers like Star Wars, that had a fandom like Star Wars. And now, whenever we talk about Star Wars, we're talking about, it seems like a very fractured fandom even, and it is a very fractured fandom. This fandom is not one that I like to spend time in. As much as I love Star Wars, I do not spend time with this fandom. The fandom is very fractured. The fandom is very toxic. The fandom does not give a fuck. And I would say that this is a culture that Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, and Disney have cultivated. This is something that you have let happen to your franchise. How you allow one of the greatest franchises in the world to be relegated to memes and jokes and people that have been here since day one saying, "I'm out, I'm done," is beyond me. It's beyond me.
Serious.
It's beyond me.
What are you here for? Are you even a fan? Do you even like it here? Do you understand what's going on? Because it shows that.
Oh, they definitely don't.
And that's okay.
Kathleen doesn't.
It's okay that you don't.
She should have stepped down a long time ago. The fact that I think, it's great. Yeah, Ding Dong, the witch is dead. A New Hope is coming and all that kind of stuff. But we are still in the Empire Strikes Back. Well, yeah, that's why I said we're still in the Empire Strikes Back era. She has a year left. She has a year left of being president of this studio. That is a little under 365 days because we've only been in this year now, about to be 2 months. So with that, she can still do a lot of brand damage. And who's to say, and we hope that at the end of this, that somebody is going to come in that actually knows the IP, that actually wants to see Star Wars thrive, wants to see happy fans, wants to get projects out there that people are going to be talking about the next day, and the next day. Or we could get somebody in here that wants to pick up exactly where Kennedy left off. And that's, oh, more Rey. Oh, more this. Because again, let Kennedy have it her way. She thinks the fandom wants more Rey Skywalker. She thinks the fandom needs another 3 trilogies centered around Daisy Ridley. That is not what the fandom needs. That is not what the fandom wants. There are so many different things out there, and I've talked about this many times when talking about Star Wars, that they can do. Legends, there's Legends material there, and for those of you that don't know, Legends material is stuff that Disney agreed that they were going to keep in, but then after taking over and signing on that dotted line, said, psych, we lied. We're doing away with all the Legends material. There are so many dope ass stories in Legends. There are so many dope ass characters in Legends, to where you didn't have to make up Rey. You didn't have to botch Anakin's family tree with Leia and Han and all of that, giving them, it just so much was ruined with what they did with the sequel trilogy. So to wake up this morning, because I did not see this last night, to wake up this morning and hear that, why is that saying? Oh, yeah, to wake up this morning and hear that Kathleen Kennedy, let me get us both back. Kathleen Kennedy is being looked at to, or I'm sorry, is going to be retiring at the end of this year, was great. I'm not subscribed to Puck, and I'm assuming you have to be subscribed to them to get this, which is insane. So I'm not paying for a scoop. Not going to do that. Let me see. Really didn't want to go to the Hollywood Reporter either. Is there... Sure, StarWarsNews.net is where I wanted to go. Okay. So this is what Star Wars News is reporting. And they said a late night shocker from Matt Bellany's Puck newsletter. Kathleen Kennedy will step down as president of Lucasfilm by the end of the year after more than 10 years at the top of the company. 10 years, too much. According to the reports, Kennedy had planned to step down by the end of 2024 when her contract was also up, and had even set up an exit interview with a reporter, but eventually decided to stay one more year. 3 sources are telling Bellany that she has already informed Disney, as well as friends and associates. Both Disney and Kennedy personal publicists declined to comment. We have reached out to Lucasfilm, but will probably not hear back. Given the hour. There's no information on the succession as of yet. The official confirmation will probably wait, but the Hollywood trades might pick it up in the coming hours. And then it goes on to say Kennedy assumed the role as the head of the company after George Lucas decided to sell to Walt Disney Company on October 30th, 2012. I remember that day. That was crazy, bro. I remember the picture of George and Iger sitting next to each other and him selling. Yeah, it's crazy. At the time, I thought, oh, this could be good. Jesus, if we could rewind. Disney Plus and the production of several others that will be coming out soon. Kennedy's 10 years at Lucasfilm were marked by her collaboration with several filmmakers, from bringing on J.J. Abrams, which was a disaster, to making shut up, Thor! To making a $2 billion grosser, The Force Awakens. Now, The Force Awakens, we all remember, we were there, which saw the return of the main characters in original, blah, 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 blah. She also hired Favreau and paired him up with Dave Filoni to make The Mandalorian and set up an entire hub of live-action shows, the New Republic era. However, there have been major setbacks, including the creative overhaul for Solo, mere weeks away from the completing principal photography, with one set of directors, or the announcement, or around a dozen film projects that were ultimately scrapped or reworked significantly because of creative differences between studio and filmmakers. That's what we heard all the time. I'm not going to read that last part, but if one of the things we heard, the Stranger Things guys, they were supposed to do a trilogy. We heard, there were several directors. Even Kevin Feige was supposed to come over here at one point in time, but there was Kathleen doesn't play well in the sandbox, and it's because she wants to destroy the IP. So she's leaving, and again, she does have a year to do so. So I'm talking so much on this because Corey's not. She's seen Phantom Menace. We watched the Phantom Menace, but we also need to finish that journey. So she's not a big Star Wars fan like that. So she doesn't really know Kathleen's effects of what she's done to Star Wars, or where Star Wars was at one point in the glory days to where it is now. So it's pretty sad, but we have this year. It is hopeful, but until she does that official interview that says, "Hey, I'm leaving," it's right now just hollow, because she has said this before, or this has been said before. So we'll see. The last thing I'll say, Corey, I don't know if you even have a chime in on this, but the last thing I'll say is Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, in that same article we were just reading, goes on to say that. Matthew Bellany, the creator, the one that got the scoop, said that they're looking at two people to take the place, and we all know who that is, and those are his words. And when he said we all know who that is, I'm thinking, well, obviously, probably Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. If that is the role that they decide to go, we might have won. We might have won. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. So we probably should have started there.
Yeah, we might have won. So we'll see exactly what's going on with Star Wars, what's going on with Kathleen Kennedy as she makes her fucking exit. And we will also see what's going to be held for the future of Star Wars. I do hope that we get someone in here, though, that wants to that has seen from the outside in how fans feel, has seen what these movies have been like, these shows, how fractured, again, that's a kind word, this IP is. And I hope that they come in and they just want to not pick up what Kennedy left. I hope that they're like, Rey movies, we were never doing that. We're getting rid of that. We're just starting. We're changing it all. We're changing it all. Obviously, you cannot start over. You can't just be like, oh, well, we're retelling it. It's Star Wars. Can't do that. So they've got to retool it and get this shit right. So until then, we'll see exactly what's going on. And the very last thing, I promise, I'm not even going into detail. I'm sorry, Corey. Very last thing, because I didn't get to talk about Star Wars yesterday when it came out. The trailer for Andor season 2 dropped, and what a fucking disaster. I'm not playing it. One, I can't play on my end anyway on StreamYards because I don't have the sound. Two, maybe it's skipping, might be more on Corey's end. If she was to play, it might skip. So maybe with it skipping, it might be a little bit more enjoyable than watching it in its actuality. But that trailer is awful. It's awful. It's awful. I mean, it is awful. And the reason it's so bad is because it opens Star Wars has never had rock music. There has never been rock music in Star Wars. There's never been any type of it's all original music. John Williams made an original score for Star Wars. The Star Wars music you hear, you don't hear in other movies. The crawl and start that is fucking Thor. If you don't shut the fuck up. That is specific to Star Wars. The music of the Force, Darth Vader's The Imperial March, all that shit is specific to Star Wars. So to get rock music over Star Wars music, and some of you might think, oh God, I wish he'd shut up and move on to the next topic because this is so, who cares? It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It is really a big deal. Music matters. Imagine if we were watching Tony and Thanos' fight with the score that they had behind it, but behind it they played Careless Whispers, or they played Back in Black, or they played fucking Adele, Hello. I'm being real. Music matters. The fucking score matters. So when you're looking at the Andor trailer, holy abysmal disaster. And again, I told you she has another year to really just kick us all in the balls before she leaves. So, but I'm done with Star Wars. We'll see. We all know right now I'm out.
Hopefully she won't do too much damage, because you can't really start something and finish something within a year. It usually takes time, right? So at least she won't start, and hopefully she won't start anything. So just gotta wrap up what she already's got going on.
Yes.
But I'm excited for you guys. But I'm also nervous for you guys. And I hope you guys get what you want.
We will see. And we're going to finish your Star Wars journey too. Like I said, we need to record it all so that people can see, you reacting to one of the greatest sagas stories ever told. And then you can watch, and it might not, and I don't want to influence you either. Your thoughts of the new stuff may not decline or may not weaken your overall thought of the IP. You may like Force Awakens. You may go into The Last Jedi and be like, oh my God, that was some of and again, I don't want to influence you. So when we do watch it, I want to make sure we record, and so people can know your reaction to Star Wars. But we'll move to the second to the last topic here, and the second to the last topic here is going to be the Russo brothers, Avengers 5. The Russos have given an update, and it's, again, I'm going to loop this into the last topic because it's I'm sorry. Then we had a super from Michael Nemo there. If we could address both of those, let me go ahead and address the super.
I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar.
Appreciate you, Michael. Corey, what did Michael say in those?
Did you read Colin Trevorrow's episode 9 draft?
For what Star Wars was originally going to be, the Duel of Fates. Oh, brother, I did. The Duel of Fates original script that he was going to do for 9. Yes. And what's crazy, and again, I don't want to go into it because I can go. What's crazy is they didn't. They look at that. It's kind of like with Marvel for me. It's like how hard it is just to take what is literally written in a book, in a comic, the source material, and adapt that. I don't know how hard that is. It's like, and now granted, Colin's stuff wasn't like source material stuff. It was his own story, but it was so much better than the episode. Somehow Palpatine returned. So yeah. And Palpatine's one of my favorite characters, but to have him show up in 9, I was like, the fuck? And what was the other super he gave us?
You're not a Trekkie, but the Trek Beyond film trailer opened with Beastie Boys, much like Andor.
Ooh. I'm not a Trekkie, so I have no idea.
My mom was a huge OG Trekkie fan, and so I grew up kind of watching it, and I couldn't even imagine that. Oh no. Oh no. I'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I didn't watch Star Trek, not a Star Trek fan, but I can tell you from the times that I did see Star Trek when it came, like the very quick moments before I turned the channel when it would come on when I was younger, I never heard no damn Beastie Boys.
Right.
So yeah, they're doing the same thing to assassination to the Star Wars franchise as well. Okay. Now, the Russo brothers here have given an update on Avengers 5, and it looks like it also has been pushed back to start filming in April instead of now. It is filming in London, and they have said it is going to be very radical. So we'll see what they said here in this article from the Direct. It says, at the premiere for the new movie, The Electric Slate, Joe Russo shared some insight of what kind of story Avengers Doomsday is looking to tell. Avengers Doomsday and the following Avengers Secret Wars will be a Joe and Anthony Russo's first return to the MCU since Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. The movies will also see the return of Robert Downey Jr. to the MCU though as Dr. Doom rather than Iron Man. Speaking with the Hollywood Reporter at the premiere, Joe Russo, accompanied by his brother Anthony, teased an exciting and radical story for the Avengers Doomsday. Doomsday, saying it will challenge audiences. Russo admitted that to answer what they are or are not looking for when it comes to new faces in the movie, he would probably be giving too much away. Still, he confirmed that they are always looking for new faces and there are always new stories to tell. That would probably be giving too much away, but I think that they're always looking for new faces because there are always new stories to tell. And I think that he's probably talking about X-Men because they are probably more than likely that's how we're going to jump into the X-Men saga with the X-Men being introduced into Avengers 5 and 6 and new faces. And I'm not just thinking X-Men. Obviously, there are 60 plus characters that are supposed to be in Avengers Doomsday. I don't know how many in Secret Wars, but it's a massive story. It's a massive comic event, Marvel comic event. And there are a lot of characters that we don't have in the MCU that are supposed to be a part of this story. So either we're going to see characters that they're going to just inject into this story, or we're going to see characters that are actually a part of this story. But they said it's also going to challenge audiences. For those of you that don't know, this was not the original plan, obviously, that Marvel was going to lean toward after what happened with Jonathan Majors. They leaned into Robert Downey Jr. to come back as Dr. Doom. Downey said that he is interested in coming back, but only if, you can get the Russos involved, and the Russos agreed to come back. Can you guys hear T'Challa snoring?
Is that what was going on? I was like, what is that noise?
I think he stopped because he heard me say his name. T'Challa.
My boy is slumped. It's late.
Good. Wake up. Okay.
I'm tired.
But so they said it's going to challenge audiences and things like that. But they also, it wasn't the original plan. Leaned into RDJ. RDJ wanted the Russos. The Russos reached out to Marvel, gave Marvel the story. Reached out to Marcus McFeely. Marcus McFeely said no originally, but then came back to the Russos with a story that they said they think would work. They went to Marvel with that story. Marvel said hell no. Called them back in an hour and said let's make it work. So that is whatever the story that they've got. It was enough to get Marvel and Kevin Feige's attention. He did tell Deadline in a different interview, though, that anybody in Marvel could show up in this movie. So it's going to be challenging. It's going to challenge audiences as far as what that means. As far as I'm assuming,
it's going to be a hot mess. That's what it's sounding like to me.
Maybe
that's why
it's going to be
chuckled.
Exciting and radical. What are your thoughts on radical?
Like, as soon as you read that first sentence, I chuckled, because what it sounds like, it's going to be a hot fucking mess, because we swear to God, we don't know what we're doing. We weren't given much, and now we're about to do a big project. We might have bit off too much, so we're just going to say that it's radical, and it's going to challenge them, so they don't really think about it, because if you don't think about it, it makes sense, right? Wrong. The only way that I see this potential Doomsday RDJ sequence coming back is if they adapt the storyline of, instead of Reed being his roommate, it was Tony. They switched.
I don't know how they're gonna.
Like, I don't know. That's the only thing that would make sense. That's literally the only thing that would make sense to me. Anything else outside of that just sounds like you literally took your hand, stuck it up your asshole, found your shit, and pulled it out and tried to give it to me.
Yeah, I've seen the theory of it's Doom, or he's always been Doom, or whatever. I hate that theory. Theory that Iron Man has always been Dr. Doom.
So you're just gonna discredit the 10 plus years? Y'all like?
Yeah, it's a terrible rumor.
What?
I've never really talked about it because I don't subscribe to it. I hope that it is not something that they're doing. I mean, he's been Iron Man, or he's been Dr. Doom this entire time. No, I don't like that.
How hard I will flip a tape? I'll go to jail that night. What are we talking about? I'm throwing something at that goddamn theater screen. What the fuck are we talking about, bro? What the fuck are we talking?
Yeah.
You can pull that shit with Rhodey. You can try that shit with that nigga over there. But this is crazy.
Oh, well, they already did. That's canceled.
They already did.
That show's not happening. So yeah, no, it's I don't really know. I mean, when I've talked about Avengers Doomsday, I can't really go on. I can't say much. I'm not going to go off the rumors of Avengers Doomsday right now. Obviously, as they start filming and more starts to pick up, the plot I'm sure will leak. We'll hear about people being on set. This person's playing this person. That's what I'm going to lean more into, recovering on Avengers Doomsday and things like that. But as of right now, filming doesn't start till April. It's going to have new faces, new stories, be exciting and radical. It's going to challenge audiences from what the Russos are saying. And there's going to be 60 plus characters in it. and it is going to, from what they've also said about it, it's going to really set up Doom's origin story. I don't know how you're doing that, and I mean,
Again,
yeah, I mean, it's movie magic. They could do it, sure, if you want to. Yeah, I mean, Josh made a good point when I was watching him last week on, because somebody said, how do you do that? How do they set up the character and X amount of time, blah blah blah. And one of the things that he pointed out was, the screen time of each character in Endgame. Steve Rogers only has 7 minutes of screen time in Avengers Doomsday, or Avengers Endgame. It doesn't seem like that because of movie magic and the cuts and the edits and everything like that. But that man is only on the screen for 7 minutes. Thor is only on the screen for 14 minutes. Again, does not seem that, but it is. So it's movie magic. But I disagree when it comes to what he said about, Thanos and blah, blah, blah. The reason that we were so excited for Thanos is because we got Thanos in increments. Granted, we weren't getting 5 minutes of Thanos in each movie, but I mean, the fine, I'll do it myself was enough for me to be like, holy shit.
And when was that? The first Avenger movie? No, that was
fine. I'll do it myself. I think might have been Civil War or Quantumania.
Yeah, no, Civil War.
Oh, not Quantumania. Sorry, not Quantumania. Age of Ultron. Sorry, Age of Ultron. It was either Age of Ultron or it was Civil War. I don't remember.
It might not have been either. Actually, no, it wasn't Civil War. I really think it was the first Avengers because me and KJ just got done watching the first Avengers a couple years ago. Or no,
is that one? Ago. Is that from the first Avengers? Fine, I'll do it myself.
I think so because remember the first Avengers was with Loki.
Oh, fine. No, fine. I'll do it myself. Is Age of Ultron. I just looked it up. It's Age of Ultron. Yeah, it's Age of Ultron.
But even then, like all the way back from the first event, like we've been introduced by, like you said, by small increments.
We knew he was coming.
To Thanos, to his organization, him coming. They're prepped for it. Like we've gotten years, literally years, a whole decade before we even got to Thanos.
It's even like Tony said in Infinity War when he was talking to Strange. No, you don't understand. Thanos has been in my head for what he say the last 10 years, 5 years, or whatever he said. So yeah, like we had that set up. We saw Tony's visions and things like that. There's so many things set up to getting us to Thanos. So to say, oh, you guys are just overreacting, they're going to be able to set him up properly in 2 hours or however long Doomsday is going to be. I think they have a big to do. Now, again, we could walk out of this film and be completely shocked.
I mean, it's the Russo brothers. They've done it once. They can do it the fuck again. I ain't going to put it past them. But they're not working with much. They're not working with much, and they're trying to tell a big story that needs a lot. It's and like if you look at your stew, they don't have the meat and potatoes, but they have the broccoli and the celery. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they've got a pretty bare plate. They've also, but there's also the rumors too of which I also don't like this. I don't like the rumors of his cabal being the OG Avengers, but from different universes where something went wrong, where you'd have Hydra Cap as one of the members of his cabal team. You would have, Black Widow, where maybe she stayed with the Widows. I don't know, just different darker versions of the OG Avengers. And they've even thrown King Thanos in there and other stuff. I don't like that. I don't like that his cabal is just darker versions of the Avengers or whatever. Don't like it. Now, again, this is all grain of salt. Some of this shit might not even happen. It could be fake. It could be just whatever. But these are the reports that are out there right now.
No, and it's so sad because everyone just assumes I'm so excited for Doomsday because I'm such a Marvel geek and I'm such an RDJ fan, but it's so hard to explain to people how I'm not excited for this.
Yeah.
Like when they announced that, when my jaw dropped, it wasn't out of excitement. It was very much out of like, what the fuck? And how did we get here? How? Who?
Yeah.
What?
They've got work to do. They've got work to do. We'll see. We will see. I mean, I trust the Russos. I do. I trust Marcus
I
and
mean, I
McFeely.
do.
I do.
I do,
Um,
and that's why I'm like, I can't not be excited, but they're not working with much. And I think I want to go back here, sorry, to one of the comments, real quick, that kind of piggybacks off of what I'm trying to say here. Saying that they only have 4 films left until the saga is over. Where is it? Oh, Lawrence. They only have 4 films left in the saga: Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and 2 Avengers. Which, are we getting Spider-Man before we get?
yes.
to 2?
Yeah. Spider-Man 4 is in between this Avengers 5 and Avengers 6. It is rumored to be a
Okay.
Battle World film.
Okay.
Actually, I take that back. The newest rumor reports for Spider-Man 4 take it back to the original rumor reports of it being a grounded level film, of it not being this big multiversal to do, of it not being a battle world film. It's more so going to be a grounded film. I think there's going to be obviously multiversal elements because it's got to lean in or lead into Secret Wars, but it is not going. For the current rumors are it's not going to be what Sony wanted it to be originally, where it was a repeat of No Way Home, bringing back. I still think you're going to get Toby and Andrew back in it, but I don't believe it's going to be to the magnitude of what it was going to be the first time. Now they start filming that this summer, so that the script is not
for sure
officially. Yeah, that's for sure. The script is not officially done yet. They are still doing some rewrites on the script, as reported, but it starts filming this summer in London.
Okay.
And Tom actually just recently put out a video of himself in London, getting ready, because I'm sure he's obviously in London not just for that, but he's going to be filming his whatever big role or big to do he has in Avengers Doomsday, because he plays a big character from what we've heard, obviously with his relationship with RDJ and that being his mentor, having the same face. They say he's got a really big role in Avengers Doomsday. So I'm sure as soon as he's done shooting whatever shots and scenes he's got for Doomsday, he's just going to move over to the Spider-Man 4 set and get ready for Spider-Man 4. They pushed Spider-Man 4 back because he's also in the Odyssey a week. The Odyssey comes out, then I believe Spider-Man 4 is going to come out. So
okay.
I love Spider-Man. The Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show on Disney Plus is fucking knockout. I love Spider-Man, so I can't say that I'm not excited to see a Spider-Man film. I just hope that they actually do a good job on because I don't want a repeat of No Way Home. I said that originally when they were saying, oh, it's more multiversal, more this, more that. No.
Yeah.
So anyway, Avengers Doomsday, Secret Wars, that's what we've got right now. Exciting, new faces, challenging to audiences, and a few more things that the Russo said. So you can look forward to that.
Mess.
Yeah. Now the Odyssey, like Lauren said, sounds good. Oh, I can't wait for the Odyssey. I can't wait.
Yeah, the Odyssey looks good.
I can't wait for the Odyssey. Christopher Nolan doing that, man. That cast is phenomenal. I love Greek mythology, so when I originally heard the story when I was younger, like it's the Odyssey, the original movie. If you want to watch, if you don't know what the Odyssey is, you can watch the movie with Vanessa Williams. I don't know when that movie came out, 70s, 80s, or something like that, but it's still good. You can watch it if you don't know what the Odyssey is to catch yourself up. But
I want to say
it's great.
80s.
You said what?
I want to say it was the 80s. I'm looking it up.
It was
right
the
now.
80s. Yeah, it's the 80s with Vanessa Williams. I know she's in it.
Right.
It's funny. It's not giving me that movie. It's giving me the Christopher Nolan. It's not even pulling up. Do I have to type in Vanessa Williams with it?
That's what I did.
Oh, I see it. Okay. 1997. The Odyssey miniseries. It was a miniseries.
1997.
Yeah, it was a miniseries. But you can watch that. It's if you're interested in the Odyssey. It's on YouTube. It looks like the whole hour, 31 minutes. But anyway, ready for that one? We'll move on to the last topic here. And the last topic is simply the continued disrespect for the Black Panther franchise in Marvel Studios. I mean, I don't really know how much how much more can really be said about just the treatment of these characters, this franchise over at Marvel Studios. I'm gonna jump into the article really quick, then we'll give our thoughts on it. It has been announced, for those of you that know, nobody here has been under a rock. I'm sure every single one of you has seen that Marvel Studios has, no one should be shocked by this. No one should be like, oh gosh, oh, I didn't know that was happening. Brad Winderbaum, obviously the person that has taken over for Nate Moore. I said that a long time ago when Brad was doing all that damn talk, and I was like, oh, Nate's gone. He confirmed that the OKOYE series was canceled. He said, I think fans of OKOYE are going to be excited to see her come back, but I don't think it's going to be in a television show. I can't say where and when, but I think there's a lot to look forward to. And that is an answer. That is just a textbook. Yeah, of course, this character, you'll see more of them. They're in the MCU. We have the cinematic universe. Their character in it. Denai is still with us. Yeah, you're going to see her. I think that's such a textbook answer. The reason I think that's such a textbook answer is just because he ended it with what, but I think there's a lot to look forward to. And I can't say where or when and all that kind of stuff. The OKOYE series, if you go back to some of the videos that I did, I want to say one of the last Eyes of Wakanda videos I did when I was discussing Eyes of Wakanda. I talked about the OKOYE series. I talked about the World of Wakanda series and some other announced series or rumored announced series from Marvel Studios for the Black Panther franchise. And I had said then, none of these are happening. No. Go back and watch the video. I said, none of these are happening. I said, the reason none of these are happening is because you simply cannot. I don't care what I don't care what the narrative online is. I don't care what Marvel Studios is telling you or what some of the casuals or anti-recasters online are telling you. You simply cannot do this franchise without T'Challa. It does not work. I don't care how you flip it. I don't care how you spin it. I don't care how you try to manipulate it or do mental gymnastics with it. It is simply not going to work. A world of Wakanda does not work without a world of T'Challa. A OKOYE series does not work without T'Challa. Eyes of Wakanda does not work without T'Challa. Black Panther 3 does not work without T'Challa. Any project under this franchise that lined your pockets with $1.3 billion, that gave you 4 Oscars, that gave you the talking points that you can talk about when it comes to the Black Panther franchise, it does not work without T'Challa. Again, as that video I played last week, and I posted the video on Twitter and everything like that, Nate Moore has even said, I don't give a fuck if it was in 2018. I don't care if it was in 2018 when he said it. That still applies in 2025. In order to first love the Black Panther, you have to love T'Challa. It is really that simple. I don't know why we continue to do the mental gymnastics. I don't know why we continue to feed into this can work without T'Challa, or we can do this without Wakanda, or without T'Challa and Wakanda. We can, mind you, no one in their mother is talking about Eyes of Wakanda. Marvel Studios is not even talking about Eyes of Wakanda. I feel like Eyes of Wakanda is something that they feel they feel the same way about Eyes of Wakanda, the same way they felt about Brave New World. We just have to get through this. Yeah. This is just something that we did during that era because we were just doing stupid shit just to do it. So yeah, we did an Eyes of Wakanda series that's focusing on war dogs and not focusing on T'Challa or the things that brought us to Wakanda in the first place. As I've said many times, they don't care about Wakanda. I think they even showed you, for those of you that seen Brave New World, they showed you in Brave New World they don't care about Wakanda. They are trying to even make vibranium the most obsolete when it comes to adamantium. Now, there was the back and forth that we had the last stream about adamantium being stronger than vibranium or vibranium being stronger than adamantium. From my understanding of my reading, I always thought vibranium was the strongest metal in Marvel Comics, but that's neither here nor there. The point that I'm making is you made a big point about vibranium, and the world leaders trying to take vibranium and these people sneaking into Wakanda for vibranium, Namor having vibranium and all this kind of shit that you did. did just to, again, make vibranium. It's seemingly, I don't know what the future holds for Marvel Studios, but seemingly obsolete. You've seemingly made the Black Panther franchise obsolete. You've made T'Challa obsolete. These characters are now obsolete. Now, if we're not doing an OKOYE series or we're not moving forward with some of the other stuff that was, again, for the Black Panther franchise, because we're maybe, and again, this is a maybe. This is like a little sprinkle, the biggest, smallest maybe possible. Maybe they've looked and said, hey, you know what? We're going to cancel all of this stuff because some of these characters and actors and things and such are still tied to Chadwick Boseman, and we've seen the cries online, we've seen the arguments and things like that, and we've had a wake up moment where we realize, okay, an OKOYE series without T'Challa won't work. Denai probably, still has the feelings that she has toward Chadwick Boseman. Lupita has the feelings that the cast have the feelings that they have. So maybe if we get rid of the cast, retcon, not retcon, but get rid of the cast with some type of incursion, some type of something. I don't know. It's Marvel. It's comics. You can make up anything. Then you can bring in a new T'Challa, whatever. I don't think that that's what's going on at all. I think they're just canceling this shit just because they're canceling it because they don't have a plan for this franchise. Could be wrong. Maybe Black Panther 3 is going to reveal whatever plan that is. Maybe Avengers 5, if the Russo brothers are indeed going to allow this is rumored, we don't know this, indeed allow a Toussaint variant, an older version of this child to come in and be the Black Panther that is on screen for Avengers 5 and 6. I don't know what the plans are. I don't know what they're going to do, but I will tell you what they are not going to do, and that's give a damn about this franchise. I wish people would wake up. I wish people would get to the point that I'm at. And maybe, and again, I know some of you want to cling on to hope, and I want to cling on to the same hope. I want to have hope. I want T'Challa to be here. I want all this stuff. They don't care about this franchise. They don't. I don't care what people online are telling you. Like, oh, they care. Or how can you care about this black character when you don't even care about Sam or this or that? Again, as I've said many times talking about this, in order for Sam to have the wings from Wakanda to fly, T'Challa had to be created. None of those black characters in those places that they're in would be in those places, maybe sometime along the line, but would be in those places without T'Challa first being created. So, OKOYE series, cancel it. Eyes of Wakanda, cancel it. A World of Wakanda, cancel it. Black Panther 3, cancel it. Anything you're doing with this franchise without the franchise's main character, cancel it. Cancel it.
I just feel like it's easier for them to go back on. They Marvel Studios put 10 toes deep in what they did in Wakanda Forever, and they're not going to backtrack on that. And I feel like it's easier for them, if they are going to backtrack on anything, it's easier for them to backtrack on making this child an older variant or to bring a different variant than it would to bring back the original T'Challa. Does that make sense? Then it would be to just recast T'Challa himself and bring back our Earth's T'Challa. Like, they rather go back in their 10 toes deep with anything else besides that. And I agree. I feel like I just wish people would kind of wake up, grow up, do whatever you need to do to realize that. Because the movie was unnecessary. We didn't have to have the movie. They could have done anything. No one was banging on Marvel's door after this man's death and said, hey, give us part 2. No one did that. This movie deadass could have came out last year. And we could have gotten a new T'Challa. There would have been a little bit of small setbacks as far as having a new T'Challa. But then that movie would have made the money it needed to make, and then everybody would have shut the fuck up.
Yep.
But no.
Yep.
So at this point, we're getting
at this point it's
serious. We're getting the child.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, at this point they don't. I mean, they've showed, and I'm now taking it away from the Black Panther franchise. It's just in general. Let's see. I think I do this often when every time we talk about Black Panther, but let's go down the line. Let's call them all out. Armor Wars
Rhodey.
canceled.
Yeah, Armor Wars canceled.
Blade, seemingly not happening. Ironheart pushed back, and it's in the back of people's minds, pushed back to the back of people's minds, to where when it comes out, people are gonna be like, who? The character? This is the story picking up from Wakanda Forever in 2022? The same issues you had with Brave New World? A story picking up from a failed Disney Plus series? But I digress. Here we go. Then you've got Monica misplaced in a completely different universe. You've got, let's see, Wonder Man, who you changed the race of, and I'm, to be honest with you, again, and unless it's brought up in this setting, I forget about Wonder Man, and I wouldn't even argue. The general audience has also forgotten about Wonder Man. Let's see. Am I missing more black characters? I'm about talking.
The film said no Blue Marvel.
Yeah, no Blue Marvel. No Blue Marvel's not in the MCU. And then of course the main one, T'Challa being dead.
They're talking
Marvel
about
Studios.
I don't know if you saw. Sorry, they were talking. I saw this article earlier saying that Marvels were thinking about bringing back the Defenders. But the guy that played Luke Cage is probably not going to come back. I don't know. He did an interview a few years ago saying that it would have to be something really big, and he's really enjoying his life as basically a dad, and like he doesn't know.
Yeah, so, I saw Mike say that too, but I
think if the money talked, he would come back.
Yes, if the zeros are right, he's going to Sweet Christmas again and be Luke Cage. So, I think he'll definitely be back. But that one too, Luke Cage was a great Netflix show.
I was ready for season 3.
Is Marvel Studios going to put the care in? Yeah, the way it ended. But are they going to pick up or put the care into a Luke Cage?
Like they did the Daredevil. Are they going to treat it the same?
It's really that. And it takes me back to what I said at the very beginning of Daredevil. You had Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio complaining about what originally was going to be the script. You had the original script. You had Daredevil not putting on the suit until like episode 5 or 6. You had a depressed Matt Murdock throughout the entirety of the show because of events or whatever they were going to do. You had actually even Charlie Cox not even originally coming back for the role, which sparked fans being upset, sparked Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox being upset and things like that, to where you got the overhaul that you got, and you get what you get in a few days with Daredevil. So again, how nice it must be to have your franchise and the character that you like and love to, if you could, as long as you just complain a little bit, you can get your show made the way you want your show made. And it's just, again, it must be nice. It must be nice to live in a world where your franchise is taken care of. So I did want to read this, though. I said I was going to read some of this. So let me see this here. They said the Black Panther world is getting a bit smaller in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Brad Winderbaum, the head of streaming television animation at Marvel Studios, has confirmed that they are no longer moving ahead with a live-action spin-off series centered around Denai Guerrero's Okoye. During the interview with Pay or Wait, to promote Daredevil Born Again, Winderbaum revealed that the Animated Eyes of Wakanda miniseries was the only Black Panther spinoff that would be coming to Disney Plus in the near future, which again is crazy. But meanwhile, we've gotten not spoon-fed is an understatement. We've gotten buffets of Peggy fucking Carter. Peggy can't get away from Peggy. But meanwhile, a character that was a part of a film that lined you with $1.3 billion, Oscars and all this kind of stuff, all the fan reception that it got, and 2018, years later, you talking about, that's crazy to me. That's crazy. I can't wait to see where and when, but I think there's a lot to look forward to. Winterbaum shared, confirming that the character's Disney Plus spinoff has been scrapped. Yeah, I mean, I could go into when it says it was first reported in 2021. Director Ryan Coogler 5-year overall exclusive television deal with Disney Plus. By May 2022, Guerrera had reportedly signed on to reprise her role as Okoye, which she originated in 2018 movies Black Panther after returning for Avengers Infinity War 2018 and Avengers Endgame 2019. Her most recent live action appearance as Okoye was in 2022 Black Panther's Wakanda Forever, which saw the character being stripped of her title of general and Dora Milaje, leading her on a redemptive journey that culminates in her donning the Midnight Angel's armor. Again, it was, and then look at this shit here. But it's, yeah. So they're not doing it because they don't care about this franchise, about the characters or anything like that. And the sooner everybody gets that in their mind, and it's not. I'm not saying accept it. I'm not saying roll over and accept that. Oh, they just don't care. But the sooner you get that in your mind, you'll better know how to react to some of these articles and what to say and whatever, because I've gotten to a point where when I see Black Panther news, something being canceled, T'Challa not being recasted, or we're talking about another show that's outside of him, I'm just like, oh, well, that's on par. Yeah, that's on par.
Right? Yeah, like, it's new.
That's on par with what Marvel Studios is doing.
And you gotta accept things before the understanding comes through,
Yeah. So it's again, I wasn't shocked when I saw the article, but they're not doing the Okoye series. The next Black Panther thing you're going to get simply going to be Eyes of Wakanda.
Okay.
Eyes of Wakanda will be your next Black Panther project. Now, if you're coming to Planet Fanatics over here after the viewing of these, after they drop these on Disney Plus, and expecting some type of review or expecting some type of thoughts or anything like that, or any type of entertainment or whatever with Eyes of Wakanda, you would be coming to the wrong place. I am not watching Eyes of Wakanda, so I will not be able to tell you exactly what is going on in this show or anything like that. Now, if there are some things that come out via Culture or Cosmic Marvel, or via Alex Over the Cosmic Circus, or any of the others, an article or something like that, sure, I'll jump on the article and see what they're saying. But as far as me tuning in to those episodes, I won't be doing that at all. I won't be doing that. I won't be tuning into anything. I wasn't going to tune into the Okoye series either. I know some of you might have, and that's no T'Challa. I'm not doing it. Now, T'Challa, I'm not saying, when I say no T'Challa, I'm not saying, damn, if he didn't show up, you weren't going to watch it. No, if T'Challa was still alive in the MCU and you did an Okoye series, I'm cool. I'm watching. The fact that he's dead, it just, again, I'm boycotting.
Rubs you the wrong way. Yeah, like, how do you?
Lawrence said it was Eyes of Wakanda, only 4 episodes. They didn't have the budget for this whole season. Now, I remember this came out last summer about the budget. They say Eyes of Wakanda is the most expensive animated show that Marvel has done. So they say they were trying to capture the same animation like Arcane. They wanted that Arcane field animation and things like that. So they say it was pretty expensive. Again, that's just what they say. Who knows? I don't know if the actual budget came out for Eyes of Wakanda. I don't know if there are scoopers or outlets that are looking for the budget of Eyes of Wakanda to talk about. But so they say. So anyway, that is what is going on with Okoye. That's what's going on with the Black Panther franchise. It's not going on. Yeah, so that is that. If more comes out about anything, obviously you guys know that with the Black Panther franchise, we always cover it. One thing that I didn't say, again, there's nothing to talk about here. This is no surprise. Just that Daniel RPK, I think it was a slow news day. I don't know why he said this. That Shuri is going to reprise her role in Avengers Doomsday. Well, yeah, she'll be in Avengers Doomsday. But that's why I saved this, because someone had said they quote retweeted and said, bad decision. Marvel Studios tried it with her and it wasn't that great. Marvel needs to learn to take the hard lessons and move on. We don't need to see Shuri again or half the other mediocre phase 4 to 5 characters. And I agree. The characters that you picked to highlight in Phase 4 was also the demise of Phase 4. So, yeah. So we'll see where all this leads with Marvel Studios and all that kind of stuff. We've got a long summer with a lot of different Marvel things to talk about. Like I said, starting next week with Daredevil Born Again. I'm thinking we're probably going to do reactions for Daredevil Born Again. I'm thinking we are, and probably get those out. So be looking for that as well. I wonder if we can do. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we can do the reactions, because I was thinking we're going to do them the way we did 97, where it was a kind of a pre-recorded, then live, then we came in. I don't know. I'll figure out how we're going to do it. I don't know yet, but it's next week.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's next week.
Figure it out by then.
That is it on the topics. So we'll jump into a few here. Corey, if you see some that stand out, go ahead and jump into some of those comments, and we will read some of those and be out.
Like any comments, or just from like the last subject?
Any of them.
Okay.
Just from the stream, since we don't do the comments throughout the stream. Answer some of them now.
Let's see. We got a lot to go through here. We kind of addressed those already. We addressed that with some of the comments. Talked about Superman. Let me scroll down to after we got some of those. Okay, we'll start right here. Raymond 2000. I don't like introducing Doom into the MCU at this peak form, which is God Imperior Doom. Because after we get through with Secret Wars, how can you use him? They'll defeat his most powerful form. And after that, how big of a threat can he really be? We've seen you at your worst and beat you. I don't know if that makes sense. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Yeah, same questions a lot of people have. I just don't know how they do it. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. But Dre Mack has jumped in here also. I didn't see his comments earlier. I do appreciate Dre. If you're still here, thank you for being here. I also saw he asked me, would you want to do, and also when you do the comment, click on it so it comes on the screen, because I don't think we're in the same spot. Says, what do you want them to do, or would you want them to do movies during the Old Republic? Absolutely. Absolutely, I would want them to do Knights of the Republic material. There are so many characters, and we're talking way before, for my people that are basic Star Wars fans, we're talking way before Vader. We're talking way before Yoda. We're talking way before Palpatine. There were pre-stories and stories. There's the story of Yoda and all them, the Skywalker saga, but then there's after the Skywalker saga. There's before the Skywalker saga. There's so many stories outside of the Skywalkers that we could be telling, but for whatever reasons, Lucasfilm and Star Wars have this fixation, or Disney rather, with the Skywalker family. We just can't, and to where they're making up Skywalkers, Rey Skywalker, like the fuck, that we just can't get away from them. So yeah, but I would love to see Old Republic stuff. You wanna watch anything Old Republic, people? I've said this before. Go on YouTube and watch the cinematic cuts that are turned into a movie for the Old Republic. That stuff is super dope. Actually, while you're doing that, while you're reading those, I'm gonna force some people to be Star Wars fans.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm clicking on it, but I don't know how to have it pop up on the screen.
I'm gonna force y'all to be Star Wars fans. Y'all are about to love Star Wars. If you don't, you're going to. I'm gonna make you.
I don't know how to make it show up on the screen. I feel like that's just your magical power. I'm sorry, friend.
You should be able to hover over the comment and then it should say show. Then just click it. No?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Nope.
Not sure.
I mean, I can definitely see the comments, but no.
Not sure. Why is this not coming up? Oh, I see. Okay, hold on. No, you can read those, but I'm about, like I said, I'm going to play this and force them to watch it while we're reading because we're going to become some Star Wars fans today. There's no sound on my end, so you won't have sound. But this is Knights of the Republic. This is just a cut. This is 6 minutes. This is a cut scene of just pure fucking beauty. My God, it is not hard. It is not.
Right.
It is not hard to do Star Wars. It writes itself.
Do I need to like close my eyes? Should I not watch this yet?
No. This is Knights of the Republic. This is not what we'll be watching.
Okay.
This is beautiful. You don't need sound because there's all it is just beautiful Star Wars music anyway. It's not like some guitar ass music in the background. It's a beautiful score. Some violins and harps are playing as you're watching this young, Force-gifted child. Her mother scolding her because no, you cannot use the Force. We don't need people knowing that you have the Force. Her brothers were twins down below being trained by Emperor Vitiate, who was the emperor at that time. Emperor Vitiate did what Palpatine tried to do, and that is immortality. Received immortality and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, after he realized how talented of a Force wielder was in his midst, he said, oh, no. We have to change the training.
He said, oh, let me find out.
Mm-hmm. Gray, appreciate you being in here.
Hello.
Yeah, bro, this is, I mean, he took her Force abilities, obviously, being the Emperor, being a villain, being evil, and introduced her to a darker power. Took her away from her mother and said, I'm going to train her now. Mother obviously not wanting to give up her child. I'm not giving names because it's like, y'all aren't going to know these people anyway. Not wanting to give up her child going through everything she went through, the torments of being trained by the dark side of the Force. What it does to you physically, mentally, emotionally, it transforms you not just physically or not just mentally and emotionally, but it does have physical changes as well. Obviously, mom having premonitions of what's going on with my daughter. So now I'm going to come get her.
Right. Oh, this is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Again, just more beautiful Star Wars music. Heavier in tone now. Violins coming in fucking heavy.
Yeah, because she's like, I'm about to fuck you up. And if I die, I die. Because y'all. She about to pop out and show niggas.
Oh, yeah. Some great lightsaber fighting right here.
Now, does she too have the Force? How does the Force work? Is this like a genetic situation? Are you chosen? Is it like a D?
It's not a genetic thing. It is in the midichlorians. It's within your blood. The Force resides in all living things. You just have to be able to
know how to access it?
well, in a way, yes, but it's a little bit more intensified and special for Force users that are actually wielders of the Force. But the Force resides in all living things.
Okay.
Now, obviously, you see here not wanting to go with mom.
Ooh.
No. The dark side is my ally now.
Yeah, the darkness done got her.
And then the final ending to it. Oh yeah. This is her mother at the temple where they were keeping her daughter, and seeing all the dead bodyguard, the soldiers that were on the same world as her, at the same base, the same planet same planet and base as her daughter, there to help protect her. Dead.
Oof.
And then seeing a dark hooded figure in front of you. Electricity, spark, and fire.
Don't tell me that's her.
And now you're face to face with your daughter.
No.
And your daughter has turned to the dark side of the Force.
Is that Palpatine? That she's not Palpatine, because that's
No. This is way before.
Oh wait, you muted.
Now, within that 6 minutes that I just showed you, for those of you that have been watching anything Lucasfilm, Disney, tell me that 6 minutes wasn't like, holy shit. Like
wait,
that.
This would have happened way before?
This is way before Vader, Anakin, Yoda. This is thousands of years before them.
Damn. So this is like the prequel.
Yeah, this is the old Republic. When we get to Anakin and them, we are now in the new. I don't want to call it the New Republic, but it's not the old. It's no longer the old Republic. Times have changed dramatically. It's very different. Very different. During the old Republic, there were thousands of Sith, thousands of different Sith lords.
I remember that, because I remember when we watched
Episode 1.
First movie, episode 1. They were saying how there's no way that there's a Sith still alive, and then there was someone else who was saying, well, if there's one, there's another, because they always have
you did retain things, yes, because there's always two. Master
I've been wanting
and
to watch
apprentice.
more, but I know we're trying to react, so I don't want to watch them and then not have my natural reaction be recorded. So I've been sitting on my hands.
We definitely need to jump into, because you're on episode 2, so we definitely need to jump into Attack of the Clones and get that recorded so they can see your reaction. But there's only 2. There can only be 2 Sith now. A Sith by the name of Darth Bane made that rule, because the Sith all want the same thing: power, immortality, greed. And with there being so many Sith wanting the same thing, of course, they're all going to kill one another to get it. So after the Great Sith War, Darth Bane made the rule of 2.
Okay. Because it didn't get into the nitty gritty of how it got there in the first movie.
Yeah. That's all in this. Thing. That's all in the Old Republic. They talk about all that in the Old Republic, but so much better.
I get it though. I do even though I haven't really dove deep into Star Wars, I really do get it though, because it's one of those things where there's people who watch movies, and then there's people who watch movies and shows, and then there's people who really engrave themselves into something. Once they you just connect with it, and then you just dive so deep into that world. And I think I just genuinely love everything about TV and movie. I think it's fascinating, and I just love this industry so much. So just picking up on little things like that, like because it was a very quick sentence, like, oh, there could only be two, and that was it. Like, and it was like, oh shit, okay, good to know.
And they said that one time, yeah. And
Yeah.
this here,
Oh, yeah.
I did see this. I did see this while we were watching. I'll let you jump back to the comment section that you were at, so you can finish after I say this. I saw this while we were watching. I wasn't going to address it. I was just honestly going to ignore it. I think this mentality is, or this thought process, I think is a little strange. I also think that it is, for lack of better words, I guess just not open-minded, one-sided. Anyway, the comment, as you can all see on the screen, says, y'all want to comment and be negative no matter what Marvel Studio does and Lucasfilm put out right now. And again, I think that is such a weird comment. It's such a one-minded comment. My thing about that is I said this about Brave New World. If you liked Brave New World, that is fantastic. I can't say no one is. I'm not calling you an idiot. I'm not throwing rocks at you. I'm not telling you that you don't know movies or cinema, or you don't like Marvel or anything like that. If you enjoyed Brave New World, that is fantastic. I love that you enjoyed Brave New World. For me personally, my opinion, I don't care about Brave New World. I thought it was whatever. You've heard my thoughts on it. So I'm taking that same argument. I'm going to apply it to everything, since you said Marvel and Star Wars. If the company that the company I love and I have loved for years and years and years is starting to decline in quality, is it not then my job as a fan to voice my opinion the same way I voice my opinion when things are going my way? So when things are not going my way, I then have to shut up and sit down and just accept what the studio is doing, because what I'm saying might be toxic or it might be negative. I'm sorry if you're taking that as toxic or negative. I'm sorry that I'm not living under some charade or facade rather, and pretending like the house isn't on fire, pretending like, oh yeah, this is great. I love Skeleton Kids. Oh my God, let me tell you how much I loved Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Let me tell you how much I loved Brave New World. Let me tell you how much Marvel's just is at the top of my list. My God, let me tell you about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show and how that shit is just fantastic. Is that the fakeness that you want me to give? Is that what you want me to get up here Monday through Friday and talk about and be fake and be like, my God, guys, they did it again. We are so back. Is that the fakeness? Because if that's what you want, you're in the wrong place. I am never going to get up here and sugarcoat anything or tell you that I love something when I indeed did not love it. If you liked it, that is phenomenal. I'm glad. Continue to love it. No one's stopping you from loving what you want to love. But to come on and say that people just want to hate things and be negative is such a weird mindset. It's a very weird mindset to have, to think that everybody has to like something just because you like it, or if you liked it, then now everybody's negative. That's a strange thing to me.
I'm gonna go off of that, and then with my response is, and I am, and I is, I am, and I is, right. Because it's in my personal opinion, I think what they're giving me is bullshit. Like, I've been a part of this franchise, I've been a part of this world. Mm-hmm. I've been a part of the MCU for 15 years. I've been a Marvel fan for I can't say 30, but at least 28 years of my life. Like, yep. I don't if you enjoy it, that's great for you. But I'm not accepting it. And you sitting here and basically telling me that I'm being negative, and without saying it in a very loud but silent tone, basically telling me to accept it. It's sounding about white. And I got at least 2 more days in Black History Month. So you're going to have to hit me with that on a different day, because it's not going to be today and it's not going to be this month. I'm so sorry. I'm not in.
Yeah. And one of the examples I was going to use that Gray used right there, I was going to throw this in there. It's perfect. Honestly, it's perfect. So I don't know if when you go to a restaurant, if they fuck your meal up, if you just accept that shit because you paid for it, you did pay for it the same way I'm paying for the content I'm consuming as well. I don't know if you just, oh no, it's fine. I'm going to eat I ordered a medium, a well done steak, but they brought this shit rare as fuck, and I'm gonna eat this shit bloody and all. I'm not gonna complain because I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be toxic. I paid for it, but I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be toxic. I want to, because people have been giving negative reviews to this place the past few days, so I don't want to give another one. If that's you, brother, right on. What's the next comment?
I mean, everyone's just basically kind of piggybacking off of that comment and just agreeing that it's okay to disagree. I mean, you can go back on multiple streams where me and Darius don't always agree on the same things. Me and Q don't always agree on the same things. Sometimes Q and Darius don't agree on the same things. A lot of times me and Q don't agree on the same things, but like that doesn't mean anything. Like you're allowed to have your opinion. You're just, and I
saw
guess
a
you're
great
allowed
quote.
to state your opinion, but it's just not validated over here, my guy. And I'm not sorry about that.
I of course, I care about everybody's opinions as far as the community is concerned and things like that. But when it comes, I saw a great quote. I think everybody should use this quote. I saw a great quote. Seriously, next comment after this. Opinions are like orgasms, and I only care about mine. Like I'm not, and that's not to say I don't care about you guys, some of you opinions in here and things like that. But when it comes to, they're like orgasms. Mine is the most important.
Lauren said, I thought Cap 4 was okay as a Disney Plus movie, but it wasn't amazing or something I will watch again. It was not a good movie like Winter Soldier. It was a streaming movie, to be honest. Agreeable.
Yeah.
And I haven't even seen it. Like,
yeah, Brave New World, man. Yeah. I did kind of want to go back and rewatch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, though. After I watched it, I was like, do I need to go back and rewatch that?
I'm telling you right now, here's the thing. I'm personally, like I said before, I don't really have much of an opinion about the movie because I haven't seen it. What I do personally know, in my personal opinion, I have not been excited about this movie since the moment it was announced. I wasn't excited about it when they first said that they were going to do reshots. I wasn't excited about it when they said they were going to do reshots again, nor I just have not been excited about this. I liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I liked the message it gave. I thought there was some really good episodes. If we're being very honest though, my main concern for that storyline was Sebastian Stan. My main concern for that storyline was the Winter Fox, the Winter Wolf. Like I was there for Bucky because that was a character that has been introduced to me from the jump. We got some character development along the way, and I was genuinely curious to see where he was going. I was also curious to see what was going to happen with Cap Shield. We all saw that fuckery right there. And we see how that went.
Yeah.
For me to turn around and again, I completely understand that his superpower is humility. I know it's humbleness. I know it's basically just being a good man. But if we go back to the very first Cap movie, when that camp director sat down with Steve and says that it's not about the uniform, it's about the person. I get that. I really, really, really do. But they still turned around and shot my dude up with some super strength serum. So it's hard for me to get excited over a dude who's supposed to be my Captain America. And the last time I saw him, he couldn't get a bank loan. He basically had to seal back his own shield that was given to him that he basically gave away. He's given a speech on racism. He almost had to beat up a kid and then save said kid. Haven't heard nothing since then. Now all of a sudden we got a movie.
Captain
and he's
America.
still not and the only thing you're giving me is a new suit.
Brave New World.
You want me to go spend $18 on that? You want me to take time out of my day? Homie, put that shit on Disney Plus and I'll watch it at home for free. so I can pause it and do what I need and come back to it. I'm not doing all that. And when it does come on Disney Plus, I don't mind sitting down and rewatching like Falcon and the Winter Soldier just to kind of align the stories, just to make sure things make sense. But profess the film fan. I completely agree. That 4-year gap really hurt Sam Wilson. There hasn't been no meanwhile, ain't no post credits, ain't no here. I'm trying to form this team. By now, we could have been seen Sam pull Jake Quillen, Falcon Boy now. We could have been seeing him pull Ant-Man after that horrible wannabe win from Kang. Like, he could have reached out to so many people by now, post-credits, to kind of make this movie make somewhat of a sense. But you want me to go spend $19 on a Captain America film that turned into a Red Hulk film?
Indeed. Who's next?
Let me see.
Aldous Hodge was at the Jennifer Hudson show.
Who? Sorry?
Even dancing down the hall, he gives T'Challa. So that's crazy. Even dancing down the hall, this man gives T'Challa.
Timo Harry said, "Why can't they do something with Namor?" He really does give T'Challa vibes, though, and he's so dang adorable.
I'm sure they could do something with Namor. I don't know. Our audience is interested in Namor. Our audience. I mean, I'm sure there's I'm really not trying to just sound negative on everything. I'm. Our audience is interested in Namor. Where's Namor been? Where's Namor been? What is?
We didn't even know about Namor until Wakanda Forever, and he done proved that Wakanda is not Wakanda because he came in and out that hoe like he was subleasing that bitch.
This man gives T'Challa. Just make him titular.
Lawrence also said they could have waited. They could have waited. Black Panther 2 didn't add anything to the main story. Yeah, we know. We know.
She'll say recast T'Challa with this man.
Dan the Man said, I met Mike Coulter at Dragon Con last September. He's fine with leaving Luke where he is. Yeah, like I said, there's been a few interviews that Mike Coulter has been in, and he's made it very clear, like, I think there was one interview, don't quote me on this, where he made a semi-comment where, like, his comeback would have to be big. Like, something along those lines. I don't know if he was necessarily talking about the check, which I wouldn't be surprised if he was, or if he was talking about the storyline, because it's not with Netflix anymore. Because I don't know if y'all have sat down and really watched The Defenders recently, but the season 2 ending of Luke Cage, till this day has me in a chokehold.
I don't know. He says that. He says that. But John Boyega also said that. John Boyega also said there was no way in fuck he would come back to Star Wars. And looky here.
Right.
You put enough zeros on that check, motherfuckers will change that tune.
Yeah. So I don't know. I really hope he does. I mean, I was literally reading a few articles actually on Facebook the other day saying that Netflix is in the talks of bringing the Defenders back. Possibly as shows. I don't think they would do like a movie. I believe
they're gonna. It probably is gonna be a show. I think they're about to cameo in Brave New World. I don't know that for a fact, but
I don't know that for I didn't.
Or Brave New World, Born Again.
Born Again, but pretty much pulling what Netflix did and giving them their own separate seasons and then getting them back together in the Defenders, and very much a very more grounded Avengers type group, misfits of Avengers type group, I guess. I wouldn't be mad. I personally did not like the first season of Iron Fist. But that second season and the way it ended, honey, chokehold.
I didn't like
till the
Iron
day.
Fist.
I didn't like
I
the
wasn't
first
an Iron
season,
Fist
but
fan.
that second season though, Darren, that second season, it gives you a little more oomph. It gives you a little more juices and berries, in the words of my mother.
I tried. That
Yeah.
one wasn't for me.
I stuck with it in that second season. Like I said, that ending. The second season in general was a lot better than the first season because it gave you a lot more. But the ending of that second season, you're just like, what the fuck? How did we get here?
Yeah, I agree with what Liam said. No character in the multiverse saga appears consistent enough to get you invested in them.
That part. That's what I'm saying. And then 4-year gap, how am I supposed to get excited? Why would you even think as a long-term fan I would openly pick up my phone, open my Regal app, click on your movie, find a seat, go to checkout, pay the movie, show up on time. You know I ain't ever gonna miss a Marvel movie. You know I'm gonna get a snack. For you to give me some mediocre bullshit. That's crazy. For 2 hours, by the way. This could have been a 6-episode series, and we could have called it a day.
Yeah, they I would check. If you haven't, like I said, I'd still watch it if you haven't seen it. Get your.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna watch it. I'm just not gonna watch it in a movie theater. I'm not gonna go pay for it. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, I
I'm
gotcha.
definitely going to watch it. I don't even mind watching it out, on a few of my little illegal sites.
Who was your next one?
I'm just kind of jumping all around, honestly. I don't see a lot of questions, just a lot of comments, and we kind of covered a lot of comments, honestly, after each subject. And then as I get lower, everyone's just kind of.
Yeah, like Lauren said, I agree with that. When them checks dry up,
Everybody comes.
it's kind of like how Tom Holland said what he say? He's gonna marry, I forgot the exact quote or something like that. He's gonna retire. I don't remember exactly what he said. I was thinking, yeah, until that Spider-Man checks is
start coming in,
running low. Then you're gonna be like, oh shit.
He said he was just gonna take a break from filming. I think he might go more towards Broadway. If we're being honest, I think he's going to take a break from filming and lean more towards Broadway. But he did say in multiple interviews that once Zendaya has them babies,
I saw that. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I think though, I think he'll rethink that. But also, I think he will rethink. We need to see how he does in the Odyssey, and that's not to say Tom Holland is not a good actor. I'm not saying that.
Part.
If you go back and you look at his when he was younger and he played in that tsunami film, Tom Holland, I think his acting, even in as Spider-Man, the crying he did and No Way Home, especially the emotion he brought, but. I think Tom Holland's a good actor. I think we need to see how he does in the Odyssey, though.
Yeah, really. Yes. Sorry, just to go back to what you're saying. I think he's going to be phenomenal in the Odyssey because for someone who has a 4-year-old who is obsessed with Spider-Man right now, we watch every Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland in it multiple times a week. I'm just putting that out there. So seeing him from the first movie all the way to No Way Home, like. Coming from Homecoming to No Way Home, the range in between those is fucking crazy. That movie you were saying, with the tsunami, crazy work.
Yeah, but my only issue though that's because where I was about to take that. The only issue with that is outside of the MCU, Tom Holland hasn't had a successful acting career. He's still in Hollywood, but no one's about to sit here and be like, oh yeah. Tom Holland this movie went platinum for him or number. No, Tom Holland has that.
No, but I've rewatched Charters like multiple. I think Charters is a great movie.
Charter. box. I
not.
don't remember what the box office was for Charter.
What is it?
Charter. Then there was the film he did with Daisy Ridley where you could read each other's minds. Awful movie. Cherry. Haven't seen it, but I know that it didn't do well either. What else? Am I missing
Uncharted.
anything else that Tom is in?
Uncharted. Let's see. Let's just go to
It's Uncharted, I believe. The game.
Uncharted. That's what it
Uncharted.
was. See, I don't even know the movie. Uncharted, The Impossible, Chaos Walking, the Devil of All Time. I started watching that movie and it got a little too scary for me, but when I watched, I was impressed. Cherry,
Didn't do well. Chaos Walking. No one
Cherry
talks
did
about
not
that
do
because
well.
that movie was
But
literally chaos.
But Cherry, to be fair, was Apple TV.
It was also the Russos, though.
Which, okay. Was that the Russos? Was that a movie?
That's the
or was that
Russos. Oh no, they directed that for everybody. It's like, oh, the Russos are so great. The Russos are great in certain settings.
Yeah, they're not for everybody. I'm looking at his discography. Oh, it's late and I can't talk right now. Chaos Walking, is that the one that you're talking about with they can read their minds?
Stupid ass movie.
Yeah, that one was very weird. I think he was a voice in Onward.
He was.
And he was in Dolittle. He did the main character in Spies in Disguise, which was a very cute movie. Of course.
But see, the two movies that we just named that actually, if you want to, outside of the Avengers films that actually did good for Tom, in Tom's favor, rather, are animated.
Yeah, animated.
Onward's animated.
And
Onward it did very well for Disney, Pixar. And this was what? Paramount, Universal for Totally Spies? Who was this? Oh no, this is a Disney movie too. I did not know that.
Yeah, Disney Plus.
Or Spies in Disguise. Did not know that.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it.
And honestly, he might not come back for like an in-person film, because let's be real, you can make some money in voice acting.
Oh yeah, no, you definitely can.
You can make some bucks.
But Tom is and he's I don't know if he's still doing the film, but he's supposed to be playing Charlie Chaplin. Is that still going on?
I don't know. Here's my thing with Tom though. I think outside of Marvel, I think the reason why his palette isn't where I think it probably should be, since he's been so in the game. One, superhero movies, especially like Marvel, they just take up your whole entire life. Like Zoe Sandela was just saying how she literally advises young actresses all the time to not play in any form of hero movies because they just occupy so much of your time and your life. On top of that, I feel like he does a lot of indie/independent films, because after going over that list, there's probably 3 of them that were actually major production movies, which was Uncharted, Onward, and Spies in Disguise.
I'm just looking at his deal here. I don't know if Charlie Chaplin is still happening. Well, yeah, I don't know. But then you've got also in the same age bracket, the same generation, you've got Timothée Chalamet, who is getting the deals and getting the movies and the movies outside of just Dune. You know, he's playing all types of ranges and getting the attention. Lady Bird, King, Beautiful Boy, where he had to play a drug addict. True story. Call Me by Your Name. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. When you compare their, not to compare the two, but when you're comparing their resumes, Timothée seems to be.
But that's what I'm saying. I just feel like he's done more diverse roles. I feel like he's just, as much as I love Tom as Spider-Man, and I can't see anyone else being Spider-Man in this generation, I also feel like it's really nipped him in the butt as far as like other movie opportunities. I think he also, like, hearing from like past interviews with him, it seems like he was also dealing with a lot of personal things. So I think doing more like indie independent films was just kind of his vibe at the time. So I think now that he's sober, I think now that he's clean, I think now that he has a
Did he have a problem? Did Tom have this problem I didn't know about? Was he a fucking alcoholic?
Yeah, so I don't think he even realized he was an alcoholic. The interview, like I sat down and watched the full interview, and it was very intriguing. It was very intriguing because he basically was saying like he didn't realize that he had a problem until he tried to quit said problem. Like he did dry January, and then he realized how bad it was.
I see.
And then he was like, well, let me just try for February. And then he said it got worse.
And then he created Bureau.
And then he said, if I can make it to my birthday, which is June 1st, June or July 1st, if he can make it to his birthday with no drink, then like he doesn't really have a problem and he's fine. By the time he got there, he basically was just like, I feel better, I do better. Like he basically realized then at that point, like, okay, I think I had a problem, and I didn't realize I had a problem.
Well, I didn't even know. I mean, not good.
So to be honest with you,
be in these celebrities' lives like that, but I didn't know he would have a problem.
But to be honest with you, what it sounds like, I don't even think Homeboy had a problem. And if he did, he done played that one real smooth. He done played that one off real smooth.
Yeah, he's got that Bureau now that's in Target.
Yeah.
I saw the video of him trying to go get it, and they didn't. The Targets he went to didn't have it, and then when he got it, they made him show his ID.
That would happen to Tom.
I guess he didn't have his ID, so
like
somebody bought it for him.
I think the reason why I just love him so much is because at the end of the day, he really just looks and sounds like a regular schmegular guy. Like I feel like someone just saw him in the mall and was just like, you know what? Here's my card. Just a regular schmegular guy.
I like Tom. I like Tom Holland a lot. I think he's a good Spider-Man.
I think he's great. He's on my TV like multiple times a week.
Yeah, I like Tom. I do like Tom.
Tom Holland over here. But I will say KJ does love him some Toby. He's not an Andrew fan. And he will make that very clear.
Oh no. Well, that is my Spider-Man.
I think those ones were just a little too grim for him. To be honest.
Yeah.
He just wasn't. I don't know what it is about Toby. I don't know what it is. We know why he loves Tom. I don't know what it really is about Toby. Maybe because I told him that's the first Spider-Man, so he's like, oh, the first Spider-Man. But by the time we got to Andrew, my boy was like, no. And every time he's like, oh, let's watch Spider-Man. I'm like, do you want Andrew? And he's like, no. And I'm like, oh, damn. Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, you definitely want Andrew.
We want Andrew.
You want Andrew. Go. Well, everybody in this chat right now that's still here needs to go watch.
And yeah, I mean, after he went to bed, Andrew. I immediately turned on The Amazing Spider-Man. So I get it. I feel like they did my boy dirty though, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, go watch.
But honestly, there's not. We covered a lot of comments. As we did the stream, a lot of it is just kind of either repeating or kind of piggybacking up off of each other. A lot of in chat conversations. Let me see here. I'm not that I can't hover for you guys to see.
Something I didn't say. Well, I was going to bring up, but I didn't. Was the Punisher special presentation that they're doing. It's going to be a special presentation just like Werewolf by Night was. Some thinking it may come out at the end of this year. So if it does, then we would get, I'm assuming, because John Bernthal said he would not do it any other way, and when I say do it, I mean coming back as the Punisher within the MCU, reprising the role as the Punisher in the MCU. He said if it's not done the way that it was done on Netflix, if it's not, then he's not going to be a part. So I'm assuming this special is going to be very crazy. It would have to be. It would have to be. It's Frank Castle. So we'll see exactly how that's going to go. But so that's what they said they've got coming for that.
I'm very excited for this. I'm very, 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 very proud of Marvel for making this a special. I want to say this again. I'm proud of you for making this a special. As much as I love me some Frank, and as much as I love the Punisher, we already got the Solo. We already got the Solo. We don't need. I think starting off with the special and kind of getting us to a point of like where Frank is now, seeing how that goes, and maybe potentially giving him a show or having him more in the movies would be great. But I think starting off with a side character that's already semi-developed.
I think they just need to move to specials in general and do away with the shows. I thought that's what they were doing. I thought at one point they were doing that, but who knows? I think Disney Plus has really ruined a lot of the MCU. Those outside for me, outside of WandaVision and Loki, that shit gets real stinky.
It gets real
stinky.
It's, in the words of Tyler, grab a mop because it's getting sticky in this bitch. You know
that shit
not
gets,
in the way I like it.
That shit gets awful. Like
and there's just something about a special. Like I love that they said, "Oh, special." There's just something. It makes me feel special. Thank you.
It's easier. Like, it's tell a story, tell that story.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this, week to week. And not to say I don't like series, but they don't know how to do them. So I don't think that they now. Obviously, that could change with Daredevil.
But that's the thing. Like, start with specials and let the audience tell you what's worth a series versus what's not. Don't just throw me random side characters with 6 weeks of series, and I'm trying to figure out how the fuck we got here and why we're here and when did we get here and can I leave?
Yeah, it's not.
So
there, like I'm just glad there's other things outside of the superhero films coming out this summer that I'm actually looking forward to seeing. I would like to get back to a place where I don't know. There's other shit to get excited about outside of. I'm sad that Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man has ended because it was like, damn, that was fun.
So good.
That was fun. I would like to continue that ride, but it's over. Invincible, love season 3. Jesus Christ, season 3 is so good. I
started and I haven't finished, but
it's so good.
What I've seen so far, I'm here for it.
Season 3 is a return to form, and I really hate that. Shut up! I really hate that it's not. I hate that I can't binge it. I hate that I'm having to wait week because I'm actually. This is what I mean when I say I'm ready. Like TV shows being TV shows, I'm anticipating. I'm counting down for Invincible. Like I'm ready for the next episode after the last episode. I'm each week I'm ready. So it's like feeling that for a television show, it's always a good feeling. I mean, House of the Dragon has that feeling. Now season 2 didn't have that feeling, but House of the Dragon had that feeling. For those that watched The Last of Us had that feeling. X-Men 97 had that feeling. So if they can't get to that, like, that anticipation, hell, WandaVision, Loki season 1 had that feeling.
Had that feeling. I mean, the fact that I had to wait that long to get season 2 was disgusting, disrespectful, and diabolical all put in one. That's besides the point.
Every time we talk about WandaVision, I always say the same thing. People, unless, if you were in those spaces, we were waking up. That's when Disney was dropping weirdly shit on Disney Plus at 2 a.m. People were waking up at 2 a.m. to watch a 30-minute episode and then to theorize about it afterwards. No, we all had to go to work the next morning because it was a Wednesday about the show online. And I'm not talking about 2, 3, 4 people online. I'm talking about a community of people online theorizing about what's next. It's Mephisto and blah 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 blah.
Readers, MCU fan, like you had the cream of the crop in those conversations.
It is not that feel anymore, and that is I think that's one of the things that I'm trying to. When we talk about the state of Marvel, I'm trying to highlight. It's like even with Avengers Doomsday, you look at it, bro. That movie comes out next year. They start filming that movie, and yeah, there's excitement for the movie, but it's just not that what it was. It's not what that, for an Avengers movie. We haven't seen the Avengers since 2019.
That part. What the hell am I supposed to get excited for?
And people are not like, the Avengers are coming back. But that's, again, Marvel's fault. They didn't do a good job of setting any of that shit up to get people excited. So.
All right.
But,
I think that's about it.
Yes, that looks like that's our...
It's 1 o'clock, and I've been up since 4 o'clock yesterday, so...
I saw the last thing there. Lauren said Moon Knight was good, but they needed to work on the CGI. During that time, I had a co-host that is a really big Moon Knight fan, and he was not happy with how they treated Moon Knight either. But I do remember Moon Knight vaguely. I remember that show. It was a while ago too. But anyway, we do appreciate every single one of you hanging out, even hanging out this long after. Tomorrow, just so you all know, do I want to say that? It's not, I don't really care. It's not that big of a deal. So on Tuesdays, on the next few Tuesdays, if we don't make the stream, don't be upset. I'm currently having to take anger management classes. So with me having to take those anger management classes, it puts my Tuesday back a little bit. Why I started later than normally wanted to, or normally should be today. So if I have to go in and discuss my feelings again on Tuesday for the next few Tuesdays and kumbaya with all these people, Tuesday might be out just for the next 3, maybe, I think it's 3 weeks. How much longer do I have to do this? I think it's like 3 weeks or something like that. I don't know. I'm not angry. But anyway, so I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm literally not angry. I'll tell you though, the questions being asked to me today made me angry. Me having to give a scenario from my day that I went from 1 to 2, that made me angry. So talking about it now is making me angry. But I will be back there on Tuesday. So if I'm not here on Tuesday, it's because I am realigning my chakras. All right.
I'm proud of you for talking about your feelings.
Well, shouldn't we all do that more?
Yeah.
All right. Again, appreciate every single one of you being here. Thank you so much for hanging out. To everybody that sent the supers, I think that was Bosco, Michael Nemo, Lawrence. Thank you so much for the very generous 20. That was super generous. But every single one of the super chats are always generous. We appreciate it. All the comments are even generous. The conversation is generous. You being here, your presence, you fucking with me the way you do, that's generous.
Woo, baby, we love it.
Planet Fanatics, the way you do, that's generous. We definitely appreciate it. So I appreciate every single one of y'all being here, hanging out, being in the chat. Tomorrow I am live again. Thursday it is the Pantheon stream, and then Friday I might not be, because there is something I need to do Friday night. So Friday I might not be, but if I'm not Friday, then I owe you guys this weekend. So then I'll be back on the weekend. Gray said, glad you are doing the class hysterias. Glad you're back, Corey. Well, thanks, you, Gray. Thank you, Gray. It is not definitely by choice. Yes, and Q is ready to be back. He just didn't know we were streaming tonight because he didn't think I was going to make it, but he didn't know we were streaming tonight, so he will be back as well.
We kind of have a mock schedule up for all of us, but you know how life be life, and so we'll try to make it out. That's all I got.
So
thanks for having me, guys.
If you are new here and you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit that subscription button. If you have not hit that like button on your way out, go ahead and hit that like button as well. As always, we appreciate every single one of you. I say this every single time I'm leaving. I do seriously love every single one of you. I care about every single one of you. It means so much to me that you guys are here. It really does. You have no idea. My day ones, my new ones, all of you. Appreciate you. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. How do I do this? And we will see you all. How do I do this in the next video? This is not. I'm not on StreamYards. I'm sorry. I'm not on. Whatever. This should end it. There should be an outro. There should be. If not, it ends abruptly. I'm sorry. I'm not on OBS. No music. So like, subscribe, share with your friends. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Bye.